for the official Rob Brown.
Good morning.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Oh, okay, all right. I apologize to all of you for not immediately talking as I should have.
I mean, you know it's coming, and you got all this time to get ready.
I know.
And you just
It's on me. I just apologize to the people.
you're just over there trying to make your drawstrings even. You know, now he's looking to make sure. Oh, they're good. You're
They
good.
are, though.
Yeah, I know.
On the throwback Greenville Drive hoodie today with the matching Boston Red Sox cap.
Which you could actually see if you go to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or the X.
Sup, y'all? Sup, y'all?
And his glasses are back, so the brand is back today.
The brand is back. Listen, I got called out yesterday for not acknowledging the brand, man. Got busted up. Got called an alien for no reason yesterday for not busting up the brand a little bit. So here we are. We're back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome in to yet another rousing rendition of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. How do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Hello, America. What up, world?
I'm talking to America here.
That's on me. I could have called for it. I didn't.
Stop trying to take the blame for something that I didn't have prepared.
How's everybody? Everybody good? Everybody have a lovely Monday. Everybody get your week started off with a bang. I hope everybody had a lovely beginning of the week. Now we're back. Now it's time to rock and roll. A lot of stuff to get to.
Well, why are you acting like Monday didn't exist? We had a killer show yesterday, and it's like you make it sound like we started on Tuesday.
I got home yesterday and thought it was Tuesday. Right? So let me tell you how it went down. We have our semi-regular exterminator appointment today. We got to, he comes by every 4 months or whatever it is, once a quarter. And it's just prep stuff, just keep stuff at bay. As Ben Franklin once said, a ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So, and I've known for a week and a half. Tuesday's Exterminator Day. Guys coming by at noon. Got to be home by noon. Off the air at 10. Got to be home by noon. Means I'm working from home in the afternoon. Totally fine. Totally part of the gig. So I sprinted up out of here yesterday at 1:45, ran home, got home, sat at the table, started working. And then it was 12:30. And then it was 1. And then it was 1:30. And then it was 2. And I call the fiance. I'm like, yo, I'm about to bust up the bug guy. Bug guy's not here yet. I busted it to get home by noon because they told us the window. By the way, every business ever, I'm going to need y'all to stop operating within windows and start giving times, okay? And if you're going to operate within a window, can we all agree that operating within a 2 to 4 hour window is just not conducive to real life for the overwhelming majority of us?
Yeah, I don't think that will work around here. We'll be on the air. It's a 2 hour. I mean, somewhere around.
So the show starts at 6. Our shows, we don't go. We'll be on the air in a 6 to 8 window. Just tune in between 6 and 8. Make yourself available. And oh, by the way, we're gonna say 2 hour window. And if the show starts at 7:49 and you're not listening at that exact moment, you never get to listen to the show again.
Well, some days the air kicks on around 7:49, and then the show actually does start around that.
Not the point.
Yeah, like today. I did it. It's just
making sure.
It's just because those people in the afternoon are cold, apparently.
We had one a ways back where our window for the bug guy was between 12 and 5 p.m. 12 and 5 p.m.
That's a pretty big window.
5 hour window. We'll be there between 12 and 5. And I'm like, A 5-hour window.
Maybe they had to get gators out of someone's yard and they wasn't sure how long it was going to take. Dude,
Give me a time, and if it's going to be later, call me, right? 12:30, and if it's going to be 4:30, call me and tell me, hey, we had an alligator out in Gray Court on some dude's compound we had to remove. He's keeping alligators as a pet. We had to go get him. And by the way, this is not a freaking wildlife conservation company. It's the bug guy, right? The bug guy. 5 hours. So the last one we had, the window was 12 to, I think it was actually 12 to 4. We'll be there somewhere between 12 and 4. And I talked to the lady at the company, and I'm like, I have, as most people do, a job. This was when we were in the 9 to noon time slot. I have a job. I can't just be at the house for 4 hours hoping you'll show up at some point. Can you give me a more specific time? No. So here we go. It's 12 o'clock. I'm racing home from the show. We're off the air at noon. We were off at 11:56. So I sprint to the office, throw the laptop and the tablet of truth down into the bag. I sprint to the house. I get there at like 12:15. Now, I'm not super worried about it because 12 to 4 usually means closer to 4 than 12, right? I get there at 12, I think like 12:17. I roll into my driveway. And wouldn't you know it, hanging on the front door, there's a note that says, you missed your window. Call the office to reschedule for another day. I'm like, yo, you had a window of 12 to 4. You can just come back. I missed you by 5 minutes. You can just come back. Nope. Had to reschedule the whole thing because I wasn't available in their 4-hour window. Dear businesses, stop operating with windows. And if you're going to operate with windows, maybe a shorter window. What are we doing here?
Yeah, but you're hurting yourself because since yesterday was not Tuesday and today is Tuesday and they're due to come today, if they're listening right now, they're like,
screw that guy.
Exactly.
Screw that guy.
What are we doing?
They're not listening. Actually, so the old guy did listen. The old guy's name was Troy. Super good dude. Loved the show. Told me that he always got pumped when he saw my name pop up on the call sheet for that day. This dude would come. You want to know why they have a window? He doesn't work there anymore, so I can't get him in trouble. But Troy was a cool dude, man. Troy loves some soccer. So Troy, whenever he would come, he would show up to the house, he would do the bug stuff, and then he would just sit at the kitchen table and talk football with me for about 20 minutes. And I always felt bad, but also didn't. You know, I'm like, Troy's cool. I like Troy.
Yeah,
Troy's
you know what you did though. You heard
other people have to work in the window.
Yeah, you heard other people's window.
Troy, get out of my house. You got a job.
That's insensitive of you.
No, y'all made me be in a window. Y'all got to be in a window now too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a show lined up for you today on the radio broadcast. A lot to get to on the show today. Yesterday we talked about a massive discussion taking place in the land of collegiate sports, right? We had a huge discussion going on in the land of collegiate sports. I'm just going to leave up the hashtag we want Cody, hashtag Rocky sucks tag for a few minutes. You leave it. That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
It does count.
Not count.
It does count.
Well, then I'm leaving it up the whole segment.
Okay, that's fine. But I mean, I got 4 more hours to find something.
So yesterday we had a discussion about the uniting, I guess, of the B1G and the SEC. We had a discussion about their little joint advisory council that the B1G and the SEC are building.
Is it wrong that I'm okay with it because my conference is, that my team plays in is in one of the 2 conferences. So, and my other team I root for is in the other one. So I could care less about everybody else. Is that wrong of me? I mean, am I a bad person for that?
Do you know what you are, Alonzo? You, sir, are a college football 1%er.
Hey, ACC, I got 2 words for you.
You, sir, are a college football elitist.
The whole time you were talking about the story yesterday, I'm like, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't see why.
Because You got it made. Have you ever noticed that whenever 85% of America go, we got a problem over here, the Elons and Bezoses of the world are nowhere to be found because they're good.
Yeah, that's that's the,
You're
the
the
group that I
Elon
roll
Musk
with.
of college football, man.
You can try that, but
You're college football Jeff Bezos. You got it made in the shade with a glass of lemonade. You're fine.
does that lemonade have pulp in it? Because I don't like that.
Oh, dude, I hate.
I
call it hair.
Yeah, it might as well be stuck in your teeth, and it's just.
I will drink nothing before I drink orange juice with pulp in it. If I wanted to eat an orange, I'd eat an orange. Stop putting orange in my orange juice. I just want juice. That's why it's orange juice and not orange smoothie. Stop with the orange smoothie. I'm on one today. I did not intend. I didn't feel this way until the mic cranked on.
It's because you're wearing a hoodie and it's like 95 degrees in here. It make you a little old man cranky, just a little bit.
No, as Joe B said, and he has correctly labeled you, Lonzo, you're not wrong. You're inconsiderate of the little man.
Listen,
Cody would be very disappointed in you.
You're either going to be in it or you're not going to be in it. And you have labeled them what? The ones who are not in it?
The Everybody Else Conference, the EEC.
Also known as, I believe, the Roy Bus, as Dabo labeled it. So, I mean, you're either on the double decker or you're on the Roy Bus.
You're either one of us or rest of y'all. Yeah. The Roy Conference, the rest of y'all conference. I think I'm going to stick with EEC. I think I'm going to stick with Everybody Else Conference.
It sounds more
the
technical.
EEC rolls.
Yeah.
Got to have a C on the end. So.
Also sounds like a technical school that someone may have went to. Where'd you go to? I went to EEC.
EEC.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, Lonzo. You're inconsiderate to the little guy. You're an elitist. You're a haughty college football fan is what you are.
Or it could be that one of the teams that I can't stand is going to be in. No, they're not. They're not. they're going to be in the Big Ten. So, I mean, the thing is, talked about super conferences for a long time. People may have thought it was far-fetched. Now you find out that the axis of evil does exist and they're about to take over.
You are the axis of evil. You are the bad guy. You are the baddies.
Not evil, just misunderstood. If you saw things from my perspective, the Thanos perspective, you would understand.
Han, are we the baddies? Yeah. Are. And that's okay. That's okay. Because it's survival, right? It's survival.
When Tony Petiti speaks, I listen.
Hey, gabagoo. There is that discussion ongoing, and we may dive back into that later on today. I said to you yesterday, those of you who listen to the show, I hope at least by now I have convinced you that I don't do hot takes on this show. I don't do hot takes. I don't like hot takes. I think hot take radio is lazy radio. Okay? It's just me. It's just my preference. Everybody to their own. So, when I said yesterday that it was a hot take, let me roll with this. The NCAA is dead. It just doesn't know it yet. And it may even know and it's just fighting for its life, but the NCAA is dead. We got a new one today. We got a new one is the National Labor Relations Board, which is an independent agency that enforces labor laws around the country. And it's an interesting setup. And I'm going to tell you, in fact, our guy Joey B may have more knowledge of this. We may be giving him a call after the show. But the National Labor Relations Board enforces labor law around the country. But it's kind of interesting in that they have regional chapters. They're kind of like a court. They have regional chapters that enforce labor laws locally. And whenever there is a dispute between the National Labor Relations Board and those who provide the labor and the laborers, there's a national oversight board that steps in to issue final rulings. The National Labor Relations Board has ruled after a request by Dartmouth University basketball players that said Dartmouth University basketball players may unionize as employees now. The National Labor Relations Board said that there is enough of the qualifying boxes ticked off by these players that they will now look at them as employees. And as they look at them as employees, they now have the right to unionize. Now, whether they will or not is up in the air. And I will also tell you,
It's the end of the world for the college purists, the ones who are still hanging on. NFL Light or NFL Junior is officially here.
you have been telling me for a while that it's been here.
Oh yeah, but now once that student athlete thing is gone and some people can't fall back on that, then look out.
Fair. So this kind of ties a nice little ribbon around all that. This is I don't believe it is the first time, but I think this might be the most significant time thus far. The most significant time that players have earned the employee logo. Now they are, at least at one school, allowed to unionize.
Are you
now,
sure? Because I think it's failed every time. I thought this was the first time it succeeded.
I think that is correct from the NLRB. I think there have been other entities that have argued that they should be allowed to unionize, but have not gotten it into a position where it's been solidified. It's been codified. Now it's been codified. It's not done, just so we're clear. It's not done because the folks there are going to appeal. It is going to appeal all the way up to the NLRB National, and the National NLRB will hear this out and make a final decision. I don't know what their decision is going to be. I have zero idea if they will hold this up. I would assume that it is likely going to be a discussion much like when an appeal goes up to the Supreme Court. Like, they are going to do what they can to get the lower body's ruling to stand unless there is just so much pointed against it that they can't. And we'll see. We'll see if that's how it works out. But the initial ruling is enormous, and we are going to talk about that later on in the show. I look forward to it. I look forward to y'all's thoughts, y'all's takes. We got to get some Super Bowl stuff in here. Today, we start leaning into some of the storylines of the Super Bowl. Again, sports needs drama, right? Sports needs drama, and there is no shortage of it in the Super Bowl prep and lead up. We had Super Bowl opening day yesterday where they did the big press junket, where they invite the idiots out there to go get their stomachs signed by players and dress up like clowns, literally.
You got a thing for clowns, man.
There's one guy every year. He shows up to this thing dressed as a clown, and he asks dumb questions.
Just to do the makeup. I mean,
not like fun, haha, George Kittle, how do you feel about The Rock coming back? No, it's always something real dumb.
Hey, when you step into the shower, do you step in with your left foot or your right foot first?
That's an important question because
it's not.
I wonder if that has anything to do with position of the shower or if you're right-handed or left-handed.
It has to do with when you're stepping into the shower, is the shower head to the left or the right? If it's to the right, you're going in left foot. If it's to the left, you're going in right foot. It's not deep. I don't need you to ask George Kittle which foot he steps into the shower with on Super Bowl week.
Well, if you're sturdy, I think it depends on what you want to hit on the door.
Stop trying to make it better for the clown.
Your belly or your booty.
Stop trying to make it better for the clown.
I like clowns. So, I mean, you know.
So anyway, as I sit here, not being invited to cover the Super Bowl, I'll watch some guy in a clown outfit ask George Kittle which foot he steps in the shower with.
So this is your journalistic integrity is damaged by the fact that a clown can ask a question and you can't.
No, I'm just infuriated that this Saturday I sat in my studio talking to Deck while he's 32 stories high in the MGM casino lobby and suite. And now I'm watching Guillermo get his fat stomach signed instead of asking players questions.
How about goals, not envy? Okay. I mean, goals, not envy. I mean, envy isn't going to help you.
Don't worry. I'm sure there's no point in your career. I'll remind you of what you just said to me, Lonzo.
I don't get why you saying I'm on the downside of my career.
No,
is that why you did that?
I'm just saying goals, not envy. Put it on the t-shirt, print it, book it, put it on the
I've
t-shirt.
already met all my goals. So, but I would like you to achieve yours. So maybe some of that envy would go away because that's gonna eat you up. And I hope when you achieve yours that there's a clown sitting next to you the entire time.
Negative emotions drive me. It just is what it is. Fear, anger, envy. Those are the three driving points of Rob Brown. I am at my most motivated when I am afraid, horrified, or furious. That's it. Or jealous.
Chris, if you heard that.
Chris, if you open this door again, you will catch these hands, man. You will catch these hands. All right. We got a lot of stuff we're going to get to, a lot of stuff that we are going to talk about on the radio broadcast today. I hope that you will join us on the show. 844-326-3663. That's the renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone. 844-326-3663. The phone line open. 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. And tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show, at The Fan Upstate. Let's have some fun. 4 hours of sports talk excellence goes now. It's The Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Adrenaline in my soul. Rock is fighting Cody Rhodes.
No, I don't think so. Well, I guess kind of. So I don't think that the Rocky Sucks things has anything to do with where they are. I think it's only going to get louder wherever they are. And then The Rock can go back online and talk about, Goosebumps and the overwhelming fan support, because that's exactly what he will hit X with. I saw all you people talking about the match and thank you for supporting me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
the connection between The Rock and the people is undeniable.
I don't know. That's a little too far, Zach, but who knows? Right, Zach, but Drew McIntyre finally is the character I can get behind. This in-between stuff, the whiny stuff, the t-shirt guy, the guy who's attacking everybody. I can get that's a heel. That's a real heel. I got to admit, there's a good portion of Rock's heyday that I didn't see because I was just watching WCW exclusive. Because VCR's recording another channel was difficult for me.
I want to go to Norway and see Hart, even though they're playing here in like a month and a half.
Smith and James in the next break.
10-4. Yeehaw! And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Rob Brown Show. Is on your radio. This is okay. Toby Keith died? What the hell? 62 years old.
Yeah, it's stomach cancer, I believe is what I heard.
Wow. Unbelievable. I did not. I mean, I knew he was battling. I didn't. Wow. That is not okay, man. Life's short, people. Hug somebody. All right. Like, I know I was having my jokes.
Don't look over here with that.
Hug Lonzo.
No, don't do that.
I know I know we were making jokes on the way out about negative emotions driving me, but hug somebody today. All right. Take a second, hug somebody. Tell them you love them. I'll lift up a red Solo cup tonight. Absolutely.
Be Bailey again, because she's about to be a hugger.
Toby Keith, 62. Unbelievable, man. That dude had some bangers. Should have been a cowboy. At one point,
I'm not going to do my negative thing on country because it's a sad story.
Don't.
I'm not.
Please don't.
I'll go back to country hating tomorrow or like in a few hours.
Toby Keith, 62 years old. That's awful, dude. Talk about a absolutely unapologetically himself musician. Hey, if you don't like my stuff, don't listen to my stuff, but we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
America.
Rip to the legend, man. Red Solo Cups getting lifted nationally tonight for Toby Keith. All right. I did not see that. I did not know that. Well, learned something new. Rip to a legend, man. Should have been a cowboy. Should have learned to rope and ride. Wearing my 6-shooter, riding my pony on a cattle dry yive. Man, that's, dude, like, that one's a little shocking to me, to be honest with you. That one's a little shocking. I
am more shocked that you didn't know.
I didn't, but I also did not start my morning the traditional way most of my mornings start, with some idle time to scroll the social media. How's that?
By the way, I agree with you, Mike, on the stream, but someone has passed away, so
that's listen, to each their own, right? If you're not a country fan, you're not a country fan. That's fine. But even if you're not a country fan, this dude's music was in your life, even if you actively tried to avoid it.
He was an actor too, right?
Yeah, I think he was in a couple of Westerns like a couple of decades ago. But I think that this dude cranked out so much music. Let me put it this way. There have been 3 distinct eras to me of country music in my lifetime. Well, I guess technically 4. There was the old country, then we transitioned into the 90s prime country. That was when, to me, that was when it was at its peak, right? And then there was this like bleed over era where it started kind of becoming more fun-based, walking the line between country and rock and roll. And Toby Keith kind of slotted into that time, right? You had guys like Brad Paisley who were starting to come on board. You were starting to see the transition away from classic female artists like Reba and Martina and starting to see more along the lines of, what's her face? Miranda Lambert. A little more edgy kind of country. And then eventually it just went full bro country. But that little sliver of time, where we were moving away from like the classic sound of country towards, but not all the way to bro country yet. That's where Toby Keith slotted in. And that was a good time in country music, man. Like, I feel like that was a time where country music was getting back to its roots, but with a modern sound, right? It was kind of getting away from the, well, I got my dog in my truck. And it was like, hey, we're allowed to have fun.
Beautiful, by the way.
Thanks. I'm not giving up on my recording career yet. It was getting away from that, and it was kind of moving to, hey, it turns out we're allowed to sing about having fun and drinking whiskey and bow chicka bow wowing in the back of the pickup truck with the farmer's daughter, right? We're allowed to sing about that again. We're allowed to have some fun. We're allowed to be unapologetic in our music. We're allowed to sing about driving fast and dying slow and having some fun doing it. And Toby Keith kind of slotted into that little era of country music. And I think it was a great time. I really do. I think it was a great time. All right. Well, Toby Keith, RIP, 62. God, that's awful, man. That's awful. 62. All right. Let's do this. I know we're significantly early, but
Or actually on time.
On time?
Yes.
I think 32, right?
No,
32.
well, it's around 30 so that these
Okay.
sports minutes are a half hour apart. That's how that's supposed to be.
Well, then, let's go to a break on time. And when we come back from this break on time, let's get into this story about Dartmouth's players being allowed to unionize and the impact that it is going to have should the appeal be upheld, the impact that it is going to have on you, on me, on college sports, and most importantly, on Lonzo. And we'll do that when we come back. I am Rob Brown. He is the great one. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got a live read right here. Stay right there. We will return briefly. right, y'all. We back. Thanks for hanging in there. Yes. And I'll tell you what I loved about that is you could genuinely see the appreciation on the face of Luke Combs for the moment that he was getting to have. He was at Tracy Chapman's table, not the other way around. He was seated in her space. She wasn't seated in his. That was a very good performance, like very cool performance. You could tell he had an appreciation.
It doesn't always happen that way when they bring someone back like that. Sometimes it's one-sided because the older artists, you could tell they've lost something.
Yeah, Tracy was incredible.
She sounds exactly the same.
Cody's Hotel overlooks the Sphere in Vegas, and he sent me video of it the other night. It's wild, dude. It's wild. We're going to talk about it later. Did you see the court they're using for the All-Star game Saturday? They've put a layer of glass. The court for the All-Star game is LED. The whole court is LED. It's freaking cool looking.
That could be distracting, though.
Well, they're going to make it look like a court while the guys are playing.
Okay.
But like during timeouts and all that, they can put videos and stuff on it. It's
because I'd
very
put up
cool.
hurdles just to see if they trip over them.
They're going to run the skills contest on it. And so for the obstacle course, the lane that they got to follow will be on the floor and it will track them while they're going around.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very cool. We're going to talk about it later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the show rolls on. It is Rob. It is Lonzo. It is you. I did not mean to click that. I was trying to move it on the cart wall.
Okay, because you said that like right after my name, and that's a problem.
Lonzo is a superstar.
All right, stop. We're not doing this. This is a very serious segment, all right? On a very serious radio program. Very serious. A regional director on the National Labor Relations Board ruled yesterday that Dartmouth men's basketball players are employees of the university and are allowed to unionize in a landmark decision that challenges the NCAA's long-standing amateurism model. The 26-page ruling by NLRB Regional Director Laura Sachs was initially reported by Front Office Sports. It cites U.S. labor law in determining that Dartmouth players are permitted to form a union. The ruling says, quote, because Dartmouth has the right to control the work performed by the Dartmouth men's basketball team, and the players perform that work in exchange for compensation, I find that the petitioned for basketball players are employees within the meaning of the National Labor Relations Act, is what Laura Sachs wrote. Dartmouth players and team representatives Cade Haskins and Romeo Myrtle praised the ruling in a statement while announcing plans for an Ivy League Players Association. The statement that they put out reads, quote, our team is thrilled about the positive ruling from the NLRB regional office in Boston regarding our efforts to unionize. This is a significant step forward for college athletes, and we are excited to see how this decision will impact college sports nationwide. In light of this, we are proud to announce we will form the Ivy League Players Association for basketball players across the league. This association aims to foster unity, advocate for athletes' rights and well-being, and create a platform for collaborative decision-making, end quote. Now, this is interesting. They immediately got support from the Major League Baseball Players Association, MLBPA, put out a press release that said, quote, today's landmark NLRB ruling will improve the lives of all college athletes for generations to come. In the history of the sports labor movement, change has always been initiated by the courageous efforts of players who have decided to stand up and demand their fair share. While there is still work to be done, the message of this ruling is clear. College athletes are employees entitled to basic rights and fair compensation for their labor that has created a multi-billion-dollar industry. These Dartmouth basketball players should take pride in knowing that their efforts will be cemented in the history of sport labor activism. I encourage Dartmouth College to accept the ruling and allow a fair union election to take place. That from Tony Clark, executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. The Dartmouth players filed a petition back in September of last year seeking the right to both unionize and collectively bargain. Doing so would mean that they are employees of the university, not amateur student athletes, as the NCAA maintains. It also means that Lonzo is more than capable and now justified to put a very well-earned smirk on his face.
Yeah. How do you take one of those off? That's like permanent for me.
That's fair. That's fair. This is a really interesting moment, I think, in the history of college sports. It is the first time that folks outside of those of us with big talking heads on the radio for a living have actually legally declared students to be employees in a legal sense. We've always used it, I guess, colloquially, but it's the first time that in a legal sense, a board with some level of legal standing, justification, has gone as far as to say, yes, legally speaking, they are athletes. Sachs wrote in her ruling, quote, Dartmouth determines when the players will practice and play, as well as when they will review film, engage with alumni, or take part in other team-related activities. When the basketball team participates in away games, Dartmouth determines when and where the players will travel, eat, and sleep. Special permission is required for a player to even get a haircut during a trip. While there is some factual dispute as to how much revenue is generated by the men's basketball program and whether that program is profitable, the profitability of any given business does not affect the employee status of the individuals who perform work for that business, end quote. I'm going to just give you the knee-jerk reaction I had. The knee-jerk reaction I had is this. You guys know that I am very pro-player empowerment, all right? I didn't earn the nickname Liberob the Woke Warrior from you guys for nothing. I am very pro-player empowerment. But I also recognize that the overwhelming majority of athletic programs are not profitable enterprises, right? The overwhelming majority of athletic departments, especially when you're talking about schools like Dartmouth, are not profitable. They're just not. And so on one hand, I get it. The players aren't wrong. I will even go so far as to agree with Lonzo and say, sure, let's call them employees. Let's even do it legally. Let's say they meet every legal definition of the word employee. Laura Sachs wrote in this ruling what I think is the point that is going to be the most interesting. And it is this. You are employees of a program, of a well, let's call it a job, of a company that's not profitable. Now, if you go to work for somebody, we'll say you pick up a job with a startup company. You believe in the product, you believe in the idea, you agree to compensation, but you're willing to even take lesser compensation because you believe in the end product. And you start working for that company, and that company's not making money. You're not shocked. You know that. You are still entitled to compensation for doing the work. And that's what the big story about this is here, right? The story here is that even if Dartmouth basketball is not a profitable enterprise, you are still working for them. And this is why I said yesterday, when we were talking about the SEC/Big Ten advocacy group or advisory group or whatever they're calling it, I think the NCAA is dead between that and this, because the NCAA is set up to run around that amateurism model. And this kills the amateurism model. So there's what I think happens on two fronts. Or I guess there's two possible outcomes. Possible outcome number one is you're going to see a lot of schools start to shut down athletic departments or at least individual sports. You may get to a point where you start seeing schools that have a football program and then maybe one or two women's programs to meet Title IX requirements, and they just shut everything else down, right? There's no more baseball. There's no more swimming and diving. There's no more track and field. There's no more cross country. There's no more none of that. Because since this is now a corporation, this is now a business, they've got to do what's best to make sure the money is good. They've got to do what they can do to make sure that they are funded. I think the other thing you're going to see, and I think this might be what Lonzo has been leaning on, and I think it is now a more interesting point than it's ever been before, and it's always been an interesting point. At some point, these schools are going to have to begin operating like NFL franchises. They're going to have to start operating like a professional sports franchise. And you are going to open the door for corporate sponsorships. Now, they're already there. But can you imagine the day when you see the Buckeyes take the field and they've got a big corporate badge right there on the front of that clean uniform?
Yeah, probably Wendy's because,
No, it's going to be Skyline Chili.
No, it'd be Wendy's because corporate headquarters, I believe, is still there. There's a lot of corporate headquarters there, or it'd be nationwide. It'd be one of those.
And here come the Buckeyes, presented by Wendy's. Right? And it's a realistic possibility.
Is that supposed to bother me?
No, but I mean, it's just a departure from college football, right? Like when you watch college football, it is supposed to be a break from everything being sponsored like the NFL, at least while the ball's in play. And I think that's going away.
When they allowed certain things, all that went out the window. This is just a matter of time.
And for the record, I don't care. Let me tell you why I don't care. Because every damn thing when I watch a broadcast on TV is sponsored. I got the Aflac trivia question. I got the Geico first down marker. I got the State Farm kickers net. I got the Progressive that and the McDonald's this and the Burger King that. I don't know why I got so many food sponsors, but you get it. Every damn thing sponsored.
Just trying to appeal
TV.
to the people who are waking up and getting breakfast. That's all.
I didn't eat breakfast.
Just knowing your audience.
Man.
Yeah, but you never eat breakfast.
It's
So
also true, but I really want breakfast now. I want some Chick-fil-A honey butter biscuits. That's what I want. All right, so point here is I don't particularly care, except for I become genuinely concerned that we are about to see, and this probably, if we're just keeping it a buck, as the kids say. In my heart,
should make that a little smaller.
In my tiny little heart.
There we go.
This is the new one. In my tiny little heart of hearts, my gut reaction is, oh no, how sad. And then I go, but Rob, take a look in the mirror, you handsome devil, you. What's the last cross-country meet you watched? Sincerely. What's the last swimming and diving competition you watched? Sincerely.
Well, you'll be watching some coming up in the summer.
Olympics! Let's go. But that's kind of the point, right? 4 years ago. The last swimming and diving competition I watched was 4 years ago.
I think those sports that you're naming are sports that are only watched by people who are in the sport or have family doing it.
And that means there's a very good chance that if the new model that allows players to unionize and therefore to negotiate for better rights, schools have two options. Number one, they can go, well, then screw this. We're just not going to have a basketball team. We'll just get rid of everything. Or option 2, we've got to maximize profitability in order to be able to compensate the athletes, scratch that, employees, and justify floating an athletics department or individual teams. And so
Or
if you're a school and you've got to negotiate with the College Basketball Players Association to give them what they consider fair compensation, and you strike a deal, but in order to be able to compensate them fairly in a way that y'all agree upon in a collective bargaining agreement, is it justifiable to take X tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to float your cross-country team? Probably not.
or do they find a way to take the individuality out of NIL money, put it into some sort of pool and distribute it to every athlete?
Keep in mind, that's literally the plan Charlie Davis came up. That is Project D1. That's the $30,000 trust fund we've talked about. It is, you've got to keep at least $30,000. You've got to offer it to at least 50% of your athletes, and you have to offer it at least half of it to female athletes. That is quite literally what Charlie Baker put on the table a couple of months ago as the Project D1 proposal. So there's a whole nother can of worms to go with that too, which is, let's say the schools, let's say unanimously tomorrow, they all go, yep, Project D1, we like it now. We're going to do it. Does that mean that athletes can't still sign NIL deals on their own off to the side?
Here's what I'm waiting for, since this has been an argument that I've had for a long time, is during all these negotiations and everything, they deem scholarships as payment. Once they do, that smirk on my face will get even bigger.
So,
because you deem that payment, then they're already getting paid.
I can almost guarantee you that's exactly what the colleges and universities are going to argue.
And they should.
Absolutely. I'm not saying they're wrong for doing it. They are going to make the argument that, okay, well, you want to be compensated. We're good with that. Let's go ahead. Ivy League basketball players. And let's go ahead and evaluate the actual cost of an Ivy League scholarship. What do you think? $250,000 a year?
I don't know. I
Sound
think
about right
Joe
to you?
mentioned earlier they don't have scholarships in Ivy League
I don't
or
know.
sports.
Whatever.
So
Forget the Ivy League.
let's go SEC or well, no, we can't go ACC because they're not going to exist. Let's go SEC or Big Ten.
So when you have these schools that, if the NLRB ruling stands, because remember, it will go to a national appeal first. If it stands, and through the entire governmental system, they decide to leave it all, and we all see student athletes become athlete employees, the schools are going to, I bet, absolutely get to a point where they go, compensation, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and say a full ride scholarship to Ohio State University. Probably out of state, by the way, because you're not from Ohio. You're from Idaho or whatever.
They don't have football or basketball in Idaho.
They 100% got basketball in Idaho. What the hell else are you going to do in Idaho? You either play basketball or pick potatoes.
I was going to say make potato guns.
That's it. Pick potatoes or play basketball. It's pick potatoes or pick and roll. That's your options in Idaho. Thank you very much. I'm good at this. So, you're from Idaho. You elected to pick and roll, not pick potatoes. You're here. Out-of-state tuition, I can tell you right now, it's a lot. Because when Rob Brown was coming out of high school and was going through his college options, he had two options. One was to go to LSU, where the rest of his family went, and be a Tiger. Or the other was to stay in Florida. And when I got the acceptance letter from LSU, and then I started getting my acceptance letters from the University of West Florida, etc., and I looked at the numbers, Lonzo, there were a lot of zeros on the out-of-state tuition to go to LSU that were not on the in-state tuition. So Ohio State's going to go, no, you're from Idaho. You're out of state. So we're going to go ahead and value your scholarship compensation to the tune of $145,000, $150,000, $170,000 a year to come here. When you include the room and board and the tuition and the food and the mentoring and the this and the that and the other, all that's included, we're going to say $175 a year, $175K a year you're getting paid. And we think that's more than fair to play 36 basketball games. We think that's more than fair. Who this is going to get into trouble, as I said yesterday on the show, are the small schools. If Wofford's students unionize to play basketball there, you think the Terriers are going to be able to afford that much? How do they collectively bargain when they're looking at, let's say, the South Carolina players 45 minutes away, getting a valuation of $130K a year to play there? And it's just, there's so many questions that at this point, I feel like most conversations about this are just throwing stuff at the wall and speculating. Welcome to radio, and welcome to the Sports Flash.
Welcome to my nightmare. I really think you'll like it. After much discussion and debate, the South Carolina Gamecocks men's basketball team finally debuted in the AP Top 25 poll. Lamont Paris's team holds not just a 19-3 record, but now owns the number 15 spot ahead of both Alabama and Kentucky. The Gamecocks host now unranked Ole Miss at home tonight. Philadelphia will serve as NFL international ambassadors in week 1 of next season. Roger Goodell announced yesterday that the Eagles will open the 2024 season in Sao Paulo, Brazil, playing a Friday night game on September 6th. Philly's opponent has not yet been named. We are your exclusive home for the Super Bowl in the upstate. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. Sunday as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the San Francisco 49ers. The Super Bowl plays here, right here on the Fan Upstate.
I don't know if he's we can ask him. He's right here.
We could. I actually came over here to check because I didn't quite understand the detail of your texts about unplug from the dock. We want to make sure.
Well, I can't. It'll kill this. I know. But I did it in there and it worked fine.
Okay, as long as you weren't connected to the dock. That's what I
Correct.
need to make sure. Okay,
Correct.
You were.
I was disconnected from the matrix.
That's exactly what we're testing. We're testing to make sure that it works through the VPN.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good.
Will you be here? Will you be here when we are off the air? I once again, and have done all the things we did last time, cannot record into Cool Edit again very randomly. Like have been able to, and then it stopped.
Okay.
I've never been able to, so.
It's probably that setting in Cool Edit is you find. But what is it? Oh, it's Stoneman in the studio. Stoneman's output got switched for like no reason. So I'm guessing it's something like that.
Sabotage.
Okay.
In fact, how much time do you have left?
No.
No, we have no.
No time left. Oh, I see that. Okay.
Well, we
Oh, yeah, 15 seconds. But so it's basically no.
So, yeah, property-
Steven, no. Don't give him that kind of credit.
So if you were going to record,
Yep.
you want the.
it's not there.
No, it isn't.
I know.
So we'll have to check.
Okay, bye. Thanks for the help.
You're welcome.
Come back in the room randomly later.
Or don't. Hear me out. And if you do, do it quietly. Yeah. The second hour of the Rob Brown Show is underway. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. I am Rob, the great Lonzo, on the other side of the metaphorical glass. This AM in charge of this and every radio program you've ever enjoyed in your entire life.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Real good. Real good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to get to on the show today. We're talking Super Bowl coming up here in just a few minutes, including some of the bigger storylines we expect to see play out that could have an impact on the game itself on Sunday. Look forward to that. We have got some NBA to get to. Did you guys see the LED court the NBA's rolling out for the All-Star game? How great is that? Now, the only question I'm going to have is, how's the playing surface going to treat the players? Are they going to be either A, at risk, or B, hate it? We'll talk about that coming up later in the show. We're going to keep going down the road of this conversation regarding the National Labor Relations Board saying that Ivy League basketballers may indeed unionize, may indeed go ahead and unionize, effectively making them employees. We'll talk about that. We got some college shooty hoops because both Los Tigres and the Gamecocks have big matchups tonight. We're going to talk about that coming up here in just a minute. It's actually said, Rob, why are you firing those shots about money at Wofford? They can still produce a baseball team. Maybe think of another small college who really is struggling. Man, I got to tell you, in the rankings of rivalries, we always go Buckeyes, Wolverines, Tigers and Tide. Furman and Wofford people are vicious with a capital Vish.
Texts are rolling in with the serious Hill Heat.
Sincerely, dude. That's fantastic cheap heat material. And listen, if there's one thing Lonzo and I are not against, it's good, solid, cheap heat material. We will always be up out of the seats. We will always pop for some cheap heat.
It fuels the show pretty much.
At this point, if it ever got demanded to change the name of the show, I might change it to Cheap Heat.
I'd be down with that.
That's not a bad name. It's really not. Hey, it's 7:04 a.m.
Now on Weenus and Pitts, it's time for Cheap
Cheap
Heat.
It's just after 7 o'clock in the morning, which means that technically speaking, it's just before you got to get to the office. You have got to get logged in. You got to pop those emails off, respond to those voicemails. Who leaves a voicemail? The people you work with. That's who. You got to send all those voicemails back to the people who sent them in the first place. Yada, yada, yada. And then, friends, comes the best part of your day. That first heat break. That first smoke break, that first, I don't smoke, but I'm taking a break anyway, break. And when that break happens, you are going to talk sports. And when you talk sports, you are going to need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying, their first bathroom break.
I didn't do that on purpose either.
Here we go.
My car wall's not locked. I thought it was.
Cheat sheet on the Fan
Okay.
Upstate.
Fine.
Trying to drag stuff around. trying to move and organize up here.
Sounds like something you should do, like maybe before or after the show.
Yeah, but
or
then
like
I
during a
have to-
commercial break. I mean,
Then I have to do stuff
okay, all right.
instead of.
Would you like? I'm the producer. I can come around there and do it
Yeah,
for
come
you.
fix my
It's
cart wall.
or we can bring Chris back in, have him do it.
Texter said, Furman, go Terriers. I love the rivalry so much.
That's how it should be.
So much.
Quit being nice, people.
And when you get to the rivalries between these smaller schools, Lonzo, they're genuine rivalries.
They still like steal mascots
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
They're genuine rivalries, and I am abso-freaking-lutely here for it. By the way, those are two different Wofford texters hitting the text line this morning. That's two different people dropping the bomb on the rivals.
Shout out to Spartanburg. Where'd it
The
go?
Berg representing this AM. I love it. Water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you will need to know before you head to work this fine, glorious Tuesday morning. The 3 stories that you and your coworkers will be discussing as you stand around the water cooler. Let us begin with item number 1. It was Super Bowl opening day yesterday. Opening day, it's a game. It's one game. This isn't a season. It's not Super Bowl season.
It's
not a
because
series.
your team's not in it.
Oh, no. Opening day doesn't make sense. It's opening day of baseball because it's the opening day to the season. There's only one day of the Super Bowl. Now, you want to call it opening day of media week or media week kickoff or whatever, that's fine. It's not.
Or in your
opening
case,
day.
release the clowns.
Yes, it is clown shoes bro day. But don't steal baseball's thing. This isn't opening. Baseball has an opening day and nobody else. Stop it. Stop it. It's not opening day. It's media kickoff or whatever. Anyway, during media kickoff day out there in sunny, beautiful Las Vegas, Roger Goodell, the Ginger Hammer, gave a speech. Are you cheering Roger Goodell?
Best in the history of mankind.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
America.
Roger Goodell gave his State of the Union, and he dropped a couple of very interesting blurbs on us. Those blurbs included the fact that the Philadelphia Phillies.
Could you possibly say blurb with more venom? I didn't even think you could put venom in the word blurb.
I can do this entire segment with more venom if you want. It's Roger Goodell. Not a problem, bud.
Ooh, he broke out the bud. Look out. He means business.
I'm talking to America here.
America.
The Ginger Hammer, Roger Goodell, gave an NFL State of the Union yesterday. And he dropped some blurbs on us. One of them is that the Philadelphia Eagles will be one of the 2 teams opening the 2024 National Football League season. And they will open on a Friday night. It is the first opening week Friday night contest in the NFL in over 50 years.
Ooh, I got to get that Friday song. I gotta have that in mind. I'll beat you because that would have worked perfect right there.
I got Becky Black, dibs.
We'll see.
It's Friday. Got to get down on Friday. Everybody's working for the weekend. Banger. Certified. Friday night, the Philadelphia Eagles will be on the road, except as the home team. Rob, how are they on the road and also the home team? I will explain to you, dear listener. The answer is that the Eagles will be playing the opening night game in Sao Paulo, Brasilia. That is correct. The NFL will be debuting in Brazil in 2024. We do not know who the Eagles will play. We do know that as they are the home team, it will be one of their away team opponents. That puts on the table the Cowboys, the Giants, the Commanders, the Browns, the Jaguars, the Packers, the Steelers, the Falcons, and the Panthers are all possibilities to draw Philly in a week 1 away matchup. And when I say away, I mean away. South America, Sao Paulo, Brazil. But that wasn't the only blurb that Roger Goodell dropped on us yesterday. He also said, in maybe the one thing that I will say, okay, Raj, okay. You know, there's been a lot of discussion about streaming post the playoff Peacock game that took place not too long ago. Well, Raj got asked if there is a chance in the near future that the Super Bowl may become a streaming-only pay-per-view event. And Roger said, and maybe the one good thing that he did say yesterday, not on my watch. Not during my tenure. Now, I don't believe anything that Roger Goodell says, but at least I can hang on to that. But he says no. Then in a follow-up question, and here's where it got very fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take just the 3 seconds that I was trying to give Roger Goodell credit for anything and give you the very next question and answer where he went full Roger Goodell. Because he got asked this question and gave this answer.
One question, but following up on the question about the Peacock, I guess for the average person, how much money is too much money for the NFL to try to get out of the little man?
Well, this is developing platforms. Just to be clear, this is developing a platform that a lot of consumers are on. A lot of our fans are moving in that direction. They're not just getting an NFL game; they're getting, a value in the sense of $5.99. I think it was for a month of the service, and they could get it for $30, $29.99 for a year. That's entertainment. That's where people are going, right? They're looking for those opportunities to expand on the amount of content they can acquire through these platforms. That's ultimately good for the consumers, but it's important for us to be on those platforms because that's where consumers are, particularly the younger demographic.
Okay, Raj.
Okay, so what did he say? I mean, he is saying it's going to stay, but this sounds to me, and I heard that soundbite earlier, that he's going to do both. That's going to have it on regular TV and on the internet. You can do both. You
can.
Yeah.
And charge more money for it. Stop with the BS, Roger.
They do it all the time. The thing that stood out the most to me was that guy said the Peacock. Probably like
He also
the
called
Twitter,
us-
the Facebook.
He also called us the little guy. So,
He's such a hater, man.
as the little guy, let me say this, Raj. Just say the actual answer. Being, we don't know, as much as we can. Hey, Raj, how much is too much to try to milk out of the little guy? The actual answer Roger can't give is, we don't know. We'll let you know when we find out.
This guy's a representative of 32 owners having to express what they tell him they want him to say, and you're blaming him. That's what I think is. Does he make decisions
Let me tell you how
without
this
them? Yeah,
works.
he does. But when it comes to something like this, he's also a businessman, and the NFL has done quite well under his tenure,
Let me tell you how this works.
whether you like him or not.
32 National Football League owners, you are 100% correct. I've been saying this for years. Elect and pay Roger Goodell to go out there and be the hole for them. That's his job. His job is to go out there and be the mouthpiece and or assorted other body parts. That's his job. And he gets paid a lot of money to do it. But here's the thing. You know what we call that in the biz? A sellout. Now, there are some people who sell out and they're totally fine with it. I'll tell you right now, if somebody called, if I answer my phone today and I get told, hey, Rob Brown, this is Mr. Johnson from so-and-so Sports Radio, and we would like to pay you $5 million a year to do nothing but hot take radio. Boys, I'm going to be in the kitchen cooking every night. Every night coming up with the hottest takes I can come up with. Brock Purdy's better than Tom Brady. Fight me. Every night. I'm cooking up the hot takes because I will sell out for that much money. But you also have to understand, when you sell out for money, when you decide that you are willing to trade your public opinion for cash, people are going to elbow drop you.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm 100% right. When money becomes more important than your public image, you can't be mad when people start calling you a clown. That's the game. That's why he's paid. Literally. Because if everything he said was just fine and accepted by the public, then the owners would say it themselves.
So why are you mad at him? Because he's doing his job.
Yes.
He's doing his job well.
Because
you shouldn't be mad at him. You should be mad at the other 32.
I am.
Okay, well, why are you directing it at
Because
Roger?
he's the mouthpiece. He's the face. He's the one that gets paid to deliver the news. I am also mad at the 32 owners who go, oh, you mean we can get another $7 a month out of every fan? You mean we already charge them for X, Y, and Z? It already costs $4,000 to go to a game.
America.
We're already making billions of dollars off the TV networks,
America.
but we can get $7 more
America.
out of every fan in America. And when asked, hey, Raj, how much is too much to charge the little guy? Raj said, well, you know, we're trying to be innovative about platforms and where we're going to put the product. And that's just where dude, stop. You want to know how you could do it on the internet? Put it up on the NFL's website for free. Just throw the games up there. But you're not going to do that, are you, Raj?
Nope.
And why aren't you going to do that, Raj? You're not going to do that, Raj, because you wouldn't get paid for it.
That's a bad business model. I don't know why you want people to businesses to fail.
That's not what I want. That's not what I want. That's obviously not what I want. What I want is for them to either A, be honest and have Raj just go, how much can we charge? As much as y'all are willing to pay us. Or to just take the billions of dollars they are getting from Fox and NBC and ESPN and put it in a streamlined place. Not where I got to buy 19 streaming services to watch games. Not where me and the boys are scrambling to find out who's got the Peacock account and can we get hooked up to the Wi-Fi and get the Roku lined up in time when I could just go, hey, Siri, play NBC. Like, you know, always. Nope. You got to throw your extra $5 up to watch this game. That's what you're milking me for. $5 more. What are we doing, Raj? What are we doing? At least just own it. Roger Goodell. This was going to be the water cooler cheat sheet.
I was going to say, I was still one, right?
Yeah,
It's
but now it's 20 after. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll get to at least item 2. Who knows?
Probably not.
Maybe item 1.5. I had more Roger stuff to get here. But Roger
America.
Goodell made his appearance. Texture said it's Eagles, not the Phillies. Yeah, I know, but Lonzo had me up in my baseball feels for a minute.
Shut the hell up.
You just sit at home in your grandma's basement with your drawers on, typing on your damn keyboard. Shut the hell up.
I was gonna play one more, but I've beeped enough words this segment. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to at least item number 2. Hey, the Gamecocks got the ranking that they wanted, and guess what, kids? The pressure just got cooked up a little bit. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
QC.
Live read right here, guys. We're coming right back. Don't go nowhere. Dudes and dudettes, thanks for hanging in there. Welcome back. Glad to have you. America. That's an interesting conversation, Zach. I like that. We may have to address it. I mean, so far, no. And so far, I'll be honest, like I think sports is doing a pretty good job of giving us, I'm going to use the word gimmicks that are entertaining. The NBA's LED court, NASCAR's clash at the Coliseum. The Pro Bowl being a skills competition as much as anything else. Like, I think they're doing a pretty good job at giving us some pretty interesting and entertaining stuff outside of the norm. But I'll tell you what I think is killing a lot of like movie theaters. Movie theaters aren't dying because we don't want movies anymore. Movie theaters are suffering because it costs you $90 to take two people to go see a movie, right? Video games aren't suffering because they're not cranking out good games. There's been, Lonzo, probably 6 or 7 good games in the past 6 months that are worth time. It's now I got to buy a season pass for everything. And now it's if you want everything the game's got to offer, not only is the game $70, but then you got to spend $100 on microtransactions so you can get all the good stuff. Or if you want to be able to compete in PvP, you got to spend real money to buy the best gear. Now, who asked for that? Just put the stuff in the game and let us play.
Yeah.
All right, thanks to Roger Goodell for ruining that last segment. Wasn't the intention. But here we are. So, where we were going to go with item number 2 on the water cooler cheat sheet. Why not? Why not? It's just going to be an hour-long water cooler cheat sheet at this point. Who cares?
You'll be well prepared for the water cooler.
You really will. You really will. Item number 2, ladies and gentlemen, we had a long discussion yesterday about whether or not the Gamecocks would be ranked. You will notice that I did not say we had a discussion about whether the Gamecocks should be ranked. The conversation was, would they be ranked? I said last Wednesday on the show. How did I know it was last Wednesday? Well, that's easy. I went to thefanupstate.com. I went to the podcast section. I dropped it down where every hour of the show is available on demand. And I scrolled back until I found the point last week where I came on these here radio waves and said, hey, the Gamecocks after the win over Kentucky should be ranked. That was pre the Tennessee dub. Then they beat Tennessee, and that resolve was only fortified. So yesterday on the show, I said it is not a question of should the Gamecocks be ranked. The Gamecocks should be ranked. I had been saying that for almost a week as of yesterday. The question was, would, after the win over Tennessee, after a revenge win against Georgia, would the Gamecocks be ranked? And the take I had yesterday before the AP poll rankings came out for South Carolina was this. I did not care about the rankings yesterday. Would I like South Carolina to have been ranked? Yes. Where did I think they deserved to be ranked? Well, if you follow me on Twitter at the Rob Brown Show, when I got into it with some Gamecock fans after the show. You can go back and find a tweet where I told one particular Gamecock fan that I thought they should be ranked 15th. Where did they get ranked? Anybody want to take a guess? 15th. Exactly where I said they should be. And I'm very happy about the AP poll doing that. That's the right call. In fact, not only are they ranked 15th, Lonzo, but they are ranked 15th ahead of Alabama, a team that not beat them, handed it to them a couple of weeks ago, but a team that, results-wise, South Carolina has outperformed since that L on the road in Tuscaloosa. They are ranked ahead of Kentucky, a team that, and this is also true, they worked in Columbia a week and a half ago. So, the thought that I had yesterday was, if the Gamecocks don't get ranked, I don't care. I mean, I will care. I consider it a little bit disrespectful based on what that team had accomplished through yesterday. But I don't care. And I didn't care because my thought was, you beat Ole Miss at your house. You knock off a team that was ranked in your house, and I mean beat them, and to be ranked next week. And you will have a legitimate, honest ranking. Not that today's is it legitimate or honest. It absolutely is, and very well earned. But you'll have an undeniable ranking at that point with a win over Ole Miss. And by the time the rankings come out next Monday, you'll also have a win over Vandy at your house under your belt. And so that was the thought I carried into the end of the show yesterday before the rankings dropped. And then the rankings dropped, and the Gamecocks are now number 15 in the country, sitting at 19-3. And that's a real good spot for you to be in. But I am going to say this. Pressure's on, dog. Pressure's on, bro. The pressure is now on because you are now a top 15 ranked team. You are now a quad 1 win for any team that comes up against you. You are now a high value win. You're a target now. Now is I think coming into the games against Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee, not being ranked kind of helped you. I think there were a lot of teams that were maybe underestimating the Gamecocks just a little bit. But all of a sudden, ain't nobody going to do that now. You're a top 15 nationally ranked college basketball team. You're not sneaking up on Ole Miss. They know exactly who the hell you are now. And again, I know that the coaches are paying attention. I don't have any question in my mind that Chris Beard, getting ready for this game, the Ole Miss coach, had a single doubt about how good this team is. I don't think Chris Beard was going to be the guy that was going to be surprised. But, and we talked about this before, I've had this conversation with Cody Decker before, the mentality of a sports team. They can be mentally manipulated. They can be tricked psychologically. I don't know if you've seen it. There's this cat, Oz the Mentalist. Have you seen this guy who's kind of blown up in the sports world lately?
I've heard of him before, yeah.
This guy's wild, dude. He's wild. He goes into locker rooms like he went into the, I want to say it was a Chiefs locker room the other day. And there's all these videos floating around of him on Instagram and TikTok and all that. But he goes into sports locker rooms and he does, I guess, tricks, but they're not really tricks. He manipulates athletes into answering questions the way he wants so that he looks like he predicted the answers. He did one with, I think it was Chris Jones for the Chiefs, where he asked Chris, how long is your phone, your unlock code? You know, you open the screen, you got to punch the little numbers in to open your phone up. How long's your unlock code? And he was like, it's like 8 numbers long. And he goes, I bet I can get into your phone. Guy's like, bet. Takes the phone. And he starts asking him questions. He's like, I want you to think of a number. Now I want you to think about is that number higher or lower than the first digit of your cut? And he goes through the whole thing. And he straight up unlocks my guy's phone, just asking him questions, is able to figure out it's incredible. Athletes are psychologically strong, but they can be manipulated. And if a team is looking at your team without a ranking next to it versus looking at it when you are the number 15 team in America, the approach might be a little bit different. The intensity might be a little bit different. So here is what I'm going to say. I think South Carolina absolutely, entirely, thoroughly deserved the respect of this ranking. I think the number 15 ranking was absolutely, entirely, and thoroughly justified and deserved. Absolutely and entirely. You know what else is deserved? The fact that you're catching everybody's best shot now. Now you are number 3 in the SEC. Everybody is looking at you as a quality win, including a well-coached, athletic Ole Miss team that is going to try to turn tonight's game into a track meet. They're going to try to speed you up. They're going to try to get you out of your shooting rhythm. They're going to try to keep the ball rotating around the three-point line, not going underneath to B.J. Mack, which has been the centerpiece of your offense against Kentucky, against Tennessee, against Georgia. They're going to try to change that game plan up on you. And now Ole Miss coming to South Carolina and getting a dub tonight probably elevates them somewhere back into at least around the number 25 ranking, whereas it will absolutely drop you right back out of it. So I love this. I love this for South Carolina. I love that you have gotten the respect. I love that you have gotten the ranking. I love that all the heat that I took yesterday on Twitter for telling you what is reality, not what was supposed to be reality or what you wanted to be reality. I love that. I love that it's justified. I love that the respect hath been given, hath been earned. I also love that it's a new season for the Gamecocks. It's a new season for you. You know what season it is now? It's open season on you. Now, Lamont's fellas go from the quirky little underdogs, the scrappy little dudes to, they're a real basketball team. They're a good basketball team. The mentality of the teams that you are going to be facing down the stretch in the Southeastern Conference season for the rest of this year just got ramped up. You are now with Tennessee. You are now with Kentucky. You are now, you know how when you guys laced them up against Tennessee and Kentucky, you got the most high intensity version of the Gamecocks that we have seen all year? Guess what? You're now Kentucky. You're now Tennessee. You're now them. So this Ole Miss game tonight, it's a pressure cooker game. The games against Kentucky and Tennessee were games to prove that you deserve to be in the conversation. Guess what? You knocked down the door. You're in the conversation now. Now, this game against Ole Miss tonight, a game that last night I said, this is about proving. Tonight, I said yesterday, tonight would be about proving you deserve that top 25 spot. Well, you got it. I agreed with you, South Carolina fans, that you already deserved it. You already earned that spot. Now we just got to prove it. Now you got it. So what does that make tonight's game now? Is this game now a conversation about whether? No, this game is a conversation about proving that you do belong, because you don't have to like this. There's a lot of doubters out there. There's a lot of folks that still don't think you should be in there. Like the texter who just said in 71307, start your text with fan. Rob, they'll be right back out after tonight. Bet on it. There are a lot of people still dating you out there.
Thank you, Clemson Texter.
There's a lot of folks still doubting you. There's a lot of folks who do not believe that you deserve to be here. You know what tonight does for the Gamecocks? Tonight proves them wrong. This is a good Ole Miss. Not a great Ole Miss team. It ain't Kentucky good. It ain't Tennessee good. Not at all.
See, I just don't. How do you play any different when you see that the team is suddenly ranked? I don't think you do. I think you go out and play your game. I don't know if there's any more pressure on them now that they're ranked than there was when they were unranked.
I think there is, and here's why. Basketball, when it comes to seeding March Madness, basketball has what they call Q1, Q2 quadrant wins.
I get all that, but I'm talking about the individual games, game versus like tonight's game. How did it change? Did the other team suddenly go, oh no, they're ranked now. Now we got to step it up?
Let me ask you this. If you and I come in here every day and we do the show and we bust it up, and then let's say tomorrow we get an email from the big boss that says, fellas, after the show today, come down to the office and bring the audio from today's show. I want to audio check it with you.
All right. They used to do that all the time.
Right.
And hopefully he's not listening right now, or we're going to be down there and it's going to be your fault.
So
they used to bring in consultants for that, and you had to sit downstairs in the conference room with the consultant as they picked through and told you every bad thing you're doing. And then the following year, they came back in and told you the exact opposite of what they told you the year before.
Sound checks are real, and here's what I'll say.
I don't think you look any differently at a team because suddenly they're ranked. They're still a team. They're still a challenge. If you need to step up, or you can step up after you see a ranking, then you're not playing like you should be playing.
So I think that is a wonderfully idealistic way to look at everything. I come in here, I give this show what I got. I do. I stay up later than I should every night prepping it. I'm in here. I'm the first person in this building every day, except when I'm not.
I don't think that analogy works. I think this is only a sports thing. When you were on a sports team.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
When you were on a sports. Okay.
I disagree.
Then I disagree with your analogy.
If I come in here, I'm giving you what I got. I busted up. But there are days where you flip it to 110%. I think it's an idealistic view to go, I attack every day at 100%. No, you don't. Nobody does. It's impossible to do that. It's impossible to do that, right? So what I have is it's a day of, I'm going to give you what I got every day. And some days what I got's 80%. Some days it's just that's what I have available to give you. I'm going to give you everything I got, but some days it's 80%. But if I get an email from the boss that goes, after the show today, we're going to air check what you did. Yeah, I'm putting a couple of extra hours work in. I'm making sure I'm formatted a little better. I'm making sure I got this, that, and the other. Yeah, I shouldn't. We're supposed to bring him average tape, but I want to bring him 110%.
Not the same thing. Not the same thing. Having been on sports teams, I never looked at the other team and go, oh, no, they just got ranked. Now I've got to play harder. Then there's a problem with me. That means I wasn't playing hard enough in the first place.
Listen, again, I think you're being spectacularly idealistic, and I think that's a great way to live.
I'm being what most guys on the team are.
No, you're not. You're being what you are.
I am absolutely being what most guys on the team are.
You think when Trae Young lines it up against Dylan Brooks, he's not bringing it the same way he brings it when he lines it up with LeBron?
It's not, the analogy doesn't work.
What do you mean? That is literally the same analogy.
We're talking about rankings. We're talking about yesterday, this team wasn't ranked. Today they're ranked. Oh, now I've got to play harder.
Yes,
no, it does not work that way. It doesn't work that way.
When they are handing out resumes and they go, we got to pick a 12 seed versus a 13 seed, a team that's got to go to Seattle versus a team that's got to go to Atlanta.
Talk about individual games. You keep going back to the other thing. I'm talking about the people on a team. Okay, I'm the power forward for who's South Carolina playing?
Ole Miss.
I'm the power forward for Ole Miss. And I'm ready to play. And then suddenly I say, oh, no, they're 15. Now I got to play harder. No, people don't think that way. They absolutely do not. Rankings don't mean anything in a team versus team situation. Overall, it does. To the players, which is what I've been saying all along. You're looking at at seeding and all that. I am talking about the individual players on a team playing another team. They don't look and go, oh, wow, they're suddenly ranked. I got to play harder.
So the Buckeyes approach Penn State the same way they approach Michigan.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yes.
Yes,
they do.
No.
You were going to say I'm stupid, and I'm not.
I didn't. No, first off, no, I would not say
there was an ST in there. I heard it.
No, I'd say that's a bad take.
It's not a bad take. Your take's a bad take. You're not actually listening to what I'm saying.
No, I am. I'm disagreeing with it. I'm saying you're wrong. If you were telling me you don't get geeked for some games more than you get geeked for other games, I am telling you, because you went, I was on teams. So was I, bud. So was I. With a lot of guys who went D1.
2 buds in one day.
Yeah,
in case you're
because
keeping
it's
track.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I was on a sports team. So was I, Alonzo. And I know that there are games you get up for.
Okay.
Ask any coach who's ever coached. There's games you get up
if
for.
If you were on a team and the team you're playing wasn't ranked and then suddenly they are, you have to step up your game because, oh no, they're better because someone said they were. Then the problem is with you as an individual. If you need to have someone ranked for you to step it up, if you're not bringing your all when you play, the problem is with you.
If you think that an athlete gets up for every single game the same way every single time, I would agree if you're talking about Kobe or Mike. But that's it. The elitist of the elite. But I'm telling you, as somebody who's been there, I can also tell you, yes, you get up for more games. Your Buckeyes are not getting up for Maryland the way they get up for Michigan. They're just not.
The analogy doesn't work. We're talking about someone who was not ranked yesterday. They're ranked today. So now suddenly you play harder because now they have a ranking.
Yes,
that's crap. That's ridiculous. It does not happen. It doesn't.
If there are any,
And I am older than you. That makes me right.
There it is. There it is. Texture says, if you're playing a ranked team and the other team will have more of a chip on their shoulder. Texture said you always get up more for a ranked game. It's a fact. And Texture said, my 3-year-old daughter just said that you guys are being mean to each other and we don't do that, right, Dad?
Your daughter's right. So Rob, as we know, is the meanest person in the world, needs to be nicer.
Texture said, my husband is a football coach, and he just said they prep different for higher ranked teams than they prep for easy wins.
From day to day. So yesterday they weren't ranked. Today they are. So now you got to change your prep. Now you got to change your prep. Your whole prep, because someone said they're ranked today and they weren't yesterday.
Walk past the point 3 minutes ago when I said Chris Beard's not changing the way he approaches this game, but the players are. Yes.
No.
Let's take a break.
No.
That's
and
one.
that is one. We're tied.
Rob Brown Show with a fan upstate.
My ears are sweating now.
My ears are sweating. Glistening.
Yeah, that's what you want to go with.
I 100% agree with that too, KC. I've always said emotion can carry you through a half. Any game, any sport, emotion can carry you through a half. But if you can use emotion to build a 10, 12, 14 point lead, you give yourself a 10, 12, 14 point cushion when the emotion's gone and it comes down to basketball guys doing basketball things.
Yeah, I'm playing South Carolina. I'm going to play really good. Oh my God, they're ranked 15th. That just happened. Now I got to step it up. No. If you need a number to step it up, you need to go home.
Again,
110% or you suck.
It's an idealistic coach's view. That's what that feels like to me. Joey B said, I guarantee the Ole Miss coach is going to lead tonight's pregame talk with these guys are ranked, and if you want to make the tournament, we need to beat teams like this. Oh, for sure.
Well, hopefully the player goes, yeah, coach, but they weren't ranked yesterday. Why is it different now? John, he's definitely drinking something spiked with the takes that he's throwing out there. I mean, obviously. And as a 3-year-old pointed out, he's very mean. She wasn't talking about me. She was talking about you. I can't be mean. I'm too cuddly. Although I am making progress, I was able to debate heavily without having a major coughing fit. Suddenly I'm from Delaware or something. Ugh. Or Canada. If we get called to the office for an air check, I swear, man.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan of Stay. Texter said, all right, we got to run through these. You guys blew up the text line right there. And I liked it. Quote, I feel like Rob is talking about motivation. When you see results after hitting the gym, your motivation increases because you want to continue to see results. Each day that you're better than yesterday increases your motivation. But I could be off here. No, you're exactly right. Motivation.
Because you agree with him. That's why you're exactly right.
Because motivation's a real thing. And if it wasn't, we wouldn't have a word for it. Motivation is real. Okay. You have different reasons that you are motivated about a thing. I am motivated to stop being a complete and total fat because I got a wedding in 7 months to lose weight for, right?
You should be motivated to win this debate. And I am. You need it. I am ranked now. So now you got to step it up.
So motivation is a thing. And if you don't think seeing that little number out to the left-hand side of a team isn't a motivating factor, then good on you for being perfect. Kurt.
No, it is if you see it for a couple weeks, but when it suddenly appears the day before you're playing a game, no, it's not motivation then.
Well, Lonzo's the perfect athlete, and everybody else that's telling me that they agree with me is wrong. That's how it works.
So you're saying if I bring up the text line, there'll be nobody that was agreeing with me?
You're welcome to bring up the text line and look.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
Because I'm lazy.
Let's see here. Texture said, Rob, it's called motivation. Athletes use it all the time. One man's motivation might be different from another. A ranking is a great motivator. Texture said, you always get up more for a ranked game. It's a fact.
Wow. I'm just hearing a bunch of people with a losing mentality.
One texter did say hashtag Stan was Zoe.
Yeah, it's because the thing is, suddenly a number appears in front of someone's team the day before I play them, and now I need to be extra motivated. Then you got a problem. You're not being coached correctly. You don't know what you're doing. You don't belong on the field, the court, the pitch, the whatever, because you got to have a number to get you motivated. Why are you even out there? I mean, go clean toilets or something.
I feel like you forgot your chewing gum, Mr. Perfect. I feel like you forgot your towel.
If I had my gum, guess which way I'm batting it?
Probably over here, if I had to guess. Okay.
We're catching your beard and it would get all tangled up and you'd have to take scissors to get it out.
South Carolina fans, one half of this show believes that Ole Miss is going to absolutely bring the fire tonight to knock off a ranked team because at the end
the
of the
other
year,
half believes that they're not that Ole Miss is not good, and if they need that for motivation, that's even better for South Carolina. Go Gamecocks.
One of us is a perfect athlete. The other is me. Dan the Superfan Man says, yes, Zoe, your take is how it should be, but that isn't how it is. Hey, that's exactly what I said to South Carolina fans yesterday, as a matter of fact. I am not telling you what should be. I'm telling you what is. And what should be and what is are regularly different things.
You know, I am glad that you have a certain number of people who are going to say yes to anything you say. I've never had yes men, but you have them.
Yes,
and
it could not possibly be that maybe Lonzo's wrong. It's only that there is a Rob sympathetic army.
By the way, I'm wrong all the time. I'll be wrong in the next couple of minutes. I'm not perfect, nor anywhere near
I
it.
wrote the sports flash. No, you won't. Bang!
So you're saying I didn't have to correct, double words or anything like that. Oh, okay. Maybe
they were there for emphasis.
Maybe tomorrow I read as written.
Maybe I should be more motivated to write a better sports
I don't know
flash.
why you would bring that up. I appreciate everything that you do, Rob, because you're amazing. I'm not going to step up my performance because you don't have a number by your name. So
She said it's not that. Yeah, they're 3. It's not that you got to be more motivated now. It's okay. You're ranked. Let's do something about that. Yeah. Again.
Yeah, but even how you said it. Oh, okay. that means you weren't planning on playing that kind of game, but that made you have to be a little more motivated. What are you even doing there? Why are you even on the team? Why are you even playing a sport? Because obviously you're not competitive to the point where you want to win.
Yeah.
That's a loser's mentality. If you have that loser's mentality, there are plenty of places in the world you can go to, but not on my team.
Yeah, you either agree with Lonzo or you're a loser.
So you can keep saying
That's
that. That's speaking of losing, that's what you say when you're losing.
That's literally what you're saying.
Yeah, that's
If you
what
don't
you say
like
when you're
me,
losing.
That's not.
I know you are, but what am I?
Dude, is that not what you're saying? Exactly.
No.
Is that not what are
No,
you saying?
it's not.
You are saying I approach every game as if I'm playing the number one team in America, and if you don't do that, you're a loser.
You know, you can put me down. I mean, you can disagree with me without putting me down.
I didn't put you down. I literally am just saying. What you said.
I think your tone says something different.
I mean, if you want to read into it, that's on you.
I think you've been told, and you've mentioned it on this air by someone, that tones mean something.
Oh, 100% tones.
And I pay attention to everything you say.
Okay. Well, Texas said, I don't feel like a ranking causes an athlete to consciously make a decision to be motivated. I think the motivation from a ranking just happens. Texas said, both of you are correct. Aw, compromise. When the game starts, Ole Miss will be fired up and wanted to beat a ranked opponent because they are unranked, but watch as the game develops, they'll play consistent basketball. I mean, again, that's fair. But motivation, if it lasts a half, based on the ranking, is still an edge they didn't have going in. That's it. There's nothing else. That matters, I think. But I might be wrong. It's happened twice today, I think. All right, we got to take a break, mainly because all of you get the extreme pleasure of having your mornings made by Lonzo Sports Flash.
You said you could be wrong. You're going to have to point out to me what that is, because apparently I don't know what that is. D1Baseball.com has released their first preseason college baseball rankings. The SEC dominates the top 10 with 6 teams, though the ACC holds the top spot with Wake Forest. Clemson checks in at number 10 in the initial rankings, and South Carolina slides in right at number 25. Both teams are slated to open their seasons February 16th, with Clemson hosting Xavier and South Carolina welcoming Miami of Ohio. I don't know if you heard this, but after much discussion and debate, including on the show, the South Carolina Gamecocks men's basketball team finally debuted in the AP Top 25 poll, which makes everyone motivated. Lamont Paris' team holds not just a 19-3 record, but now owns the number 15 spot ahead of both Alabama and Kentucky. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night as Furman takes on Mercer right here on the Fan Upstate. By the way, Moles, you ain't getting nothing out of me. I'm not saying nothing right now. You can tell them I said nothing. This is me saying nothing. It may sound like something, but saying zero means you're pointing out that it was zero. Yeah, that's nothing. Zero. There are other words for it, but I'm not bilingual or trilingual or quadrilingual.
A Tony Soprano Tamagotchi, which tells me that they are both still making Tamagotchis and now programming them to.
You don't find that a little bit disturbing?
It's a little weird.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little weird
because it's too realistic. It's too. I mean, that looks just like him.
A little weird.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to look just like him, but
there it is in the collectible case. If you would like to purchase a Tony Soprano Tamagotchi,
is that like the tablecloth?
Tony Gotchi.
That's nice. Is that the tablecloth of the restaurant where he may or may not have died?
The gabagool.
Eat.
New level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show. It's Bad MGM Tonight, Monday through Friday from 7 to 11, only on the Fan. Bad MGM Tonight is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans.
I'll say this, Luke. You don't work for the awards. The awards are a reward for work well done. I mean, if you're only working for the award, then it's just you can't do that.
I work for the award.
Well, I do my best every day. Some days my best sucks, but I still do my best.
Some days you only got.
But I'm
so
not
much
going
in
to
the
be
tank
more
give.
motivated because I see a number behind the whoever we're supposedly going up against, which there is no competition, so I don't care about numbers.
The inspirational choir behind
The choir,
it
the
was
choir.
the
I
perfect.
had to get the choir to kick in right at the right point.
Inspirational choir was the perfect touch for that.
I had to pay those guys a lot. Some of them weren't motivated enough. Smith and James, first break.
Thank you, sir. The third hour of the Rob Brown Show begins right now. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the single most motivated radio show in American history.
Let's go. Let's go. We're going to go. Let's go. We're going to go.
It's Rob Brown. It's Lonzo. It's the Fan Upstate. The renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone is there for you. It is 844-326-3663. 844-FANFONE is the number. You can text us on the text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we shall read them on the air. You can tweet me at The Rob Brown Show. Creative, I know. You can tweet the great one at Lonzo on Word. Lonzo on Word if you want to come at us in that direction. Those are both excellent ways to get in touch with the broadcast. And if you got something that's maybe a little more long format and you don't want to come on the air with it, you can email me at rob.brown@thefanupstate.com, rob.brown@thefanupstate.com. That's all the different ways to get in touch with the show today. So, what else are we going to discuss on the show today? I'm glad you asked. That's a wonderful question.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm out.
Are you not motivated?
Yeah, I'm no longer motivated. There's no number on this hour.
That is not true, Lonzo. We literally get ranked. Literally every day we're getting ranked. So
when you've been number one for so long, it's hard. I mean, you know.
Oh, there it is.
Light him up. Light his ass up.
There it is. There it is. All right. Let's talk let's talk, as Lonzo lovingly adorned in his Patrick Mahomes, a.k.a. Playoff Pat jersey today. What do you say we talk a little the big game, TM? What do you say we talk a little?
No, I want to talk Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, you could talk about the big game. I want to talk about Super Bowl because you can hear it exclusively in the Upstate right here on the Fan Upstate. Coverage starting at 2 p.m. Sunday. 2 p.m. So we got you covered all day. So if you're out and about getting your snacks and stuff ready for what you call the big game, but we call the Super Bowl, you can have us on while you're out and about getting all your stuff. Maybe you're a wings guy. Maybe you're just going to pick up some stuff that someone else prepared, or maybe you are getting the grill going. You need accompaniment out there while you're getting things cooked. Listen to the Fan Upstate.
4.5 hours of pregame. It's wall to wall, dog.
It is the biggest game in the world.
It's the big game, TM, except for us. For us, it's
the big game for us is super.
It is a Super Bowl. So let's talk a little bit about it. Yesterday, the Great One and I both gave you our keys for success for both the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Kansas City going for its third Super Bowl ring in the past 4 years. San Francisco going for their first Super Bowl ring since 1994. I think.
Since Steve Young was there.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Rob Brown was knee-high to a grasshopper, as my grandpa used to say. But San Francisco trying to get over the hump and get back to carrying around Lombardi for the first time in a very, 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 very long time. So we gave you the keys to the game yesterday. Mine, San Francisco's offensive line is the most important unit on either team on the field. Kansas City wins this game by being relatively conservative on offense and wildly aggressive on defense. Try to make all the people who have criticized Brrrrrock Purdy look like geniuses. That's Kansas City's goal. But let's talk about some of the other big stories that are coming out of this Super Bowl. And I don't think there is one that is going to be discussed more over the next few days than the discussion surrounding the guy who is going to be wearing the same jersey that the Great One is wearing right now on Sunday. That is 15. That is Playoff Pat. Playoff Pat and his quest to chase down the GOAT so far. Patrick Mahomes could potentially end up with ring number 3. He was asked about that yesterday, and he said, quote, "If you ask me that question in 15 years, I'll see if I'm close to 7, but 7 seems like a long ways away still." He would go on later to say, "I'm not even close to being halfway to Tom, and so I can't talk about that right now."
Well, he kind of is close to being halfway because it's 7, so
it's got to get to 3.5.
3.5, yeah. It's like
which means
halfway
3.
through like a season from now.
He's technically not halfway there until he gets 4. Now, he will be over halfway there if he gets to 4, but 3 is not halfway there. Now, I will say this, Great One. I think if Mahomes is going to get to Brady, if he's going to get to 7, if we're going to go from a once-in-a-lifetime player in Tom Brady to a once-in-a-lifetime player in Pat Mahomes, I think he's got to win this one. I think he has to win Sunday. I think if he does not win Sunday and he ends up winning
how many Super Bowls did Tom Brady lose?
2?
I was say he lost some.
But, and this is where I have said in the past, I think the play style of Patrick Mahomes is not conducive to giving him as many years in the league at a high level that Tom Brady got. Tom Brady was a statue. Tom Brady took the snap, and if the pocket wasn't clean, Tom was in trouble. Now, Tom did not need as long as a lot of other quarterbacks do in order to get the ball to a receiver. That's part of what made Tom Brady great. Drew Brees, great. Peyton Manning, great. The great pocket passer quarterbacks don't need the same amount of time and or space that most quarterbacks do. Patrick Mahomes throws the ball well, but it is not pinpoint accuracy and precision that makes Patrick Mahomes one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the National Football League. What makes Mahomes Mahomes, is in a conversation that we have had many, many times on the show, is his improvisational skills, his ability to make stuff up on the fly. I'm rolling out to the right. TK's covered up. Rasheed's covered up. Don't worry. I'm going to make some wild things happen until something wild happens that I can deliver a football that nobody else can throw. I am falling down and my body is completely parallel to the ground. Doesn't matter. I can still complete this pass. I'm running out of bounds and I got to throw a left-handed sideways around a defender flip pass that ends up complete. No worries. I'm Pat. That's what I do. Not an issue.
You think he thinks that? I think he just does it. I don't think there's a lot of
I don't think
involved.
he thinks. That's why he's so great. Listen, it is one thing to have to think about those plays, to have to think about those passes, to have to break those passes down in real time as you are efforting them. It's another thing to just do it.
I think he's probably, in my lifetime, the most instinctive passer I've ever seen.
I wouldn't have an issue with agreeing with that. I would agree with that when it comes to, again, those improvisational passes. I think guys like Brady, Brees, Manning, Marino, the greats, I absolutely think they don't think. They think in terms of, all right, here's the defense they're running. Here's what I think the coverage is going to be. And if that's the case, this route's going to be here, that route's going to be there, and this is where the football's likely going to end up. That is why, as I pointed out, I think Tony Romo is a great color guy because Romo's got that eye. May not have had the physical tools to match it, but he had that eye where he can look at a defense and go, okay, the probability, because that's what quarterbacking is by and large. It's probabilities. It's playing the odds. The probability based on the concepts that I know this team likes to run, the coverages this defense likes to run, and the formation this defense lined up in, the probability is the best and most likely open pass is going to be this route from this player at this time. And he does a pretty good job at breaking that down. I think Mahomes has that. I mean, maybe he doesn't have it to the level of a Brady or a Brees or a Manning or whatever. But what he does have is, even if it's not a perfect setup for him in that scenario, he's got such an instinctive ability to extend and expand plays and then do things with the football away from the pocket that make him freaking impossible to bring down. And then when it is time to throw a twisty, turny, fally, downy pass, he just does that thing. He doesn't have to, all right, if I go down this way and if I end up at this angle, then I gotta pull the shoulder in to be able to rotate. He doesn't think about it. He just does it. It's like Jordan driving in the lane. Jordan didn't think, go up right hand, flip it to the left hand, go backwards and up off the glass. He just went up and went, oh, that's what I got to do. And then did it. And Mahomes does that better than anybody else, Lamar included.
All right. John on the stream says, is Mahomes in Canton with just 2 Super Bowls? Yeah, but
he's already in.
But it's not just, it's about going to 6 straight championship games, plus all the records and winning percentage. There's just so much things that factor in there. But yeah, he would go right now if he had to retire.
So the only question here at this point, I think, is, or at least the discussion is surrounding, does Mahomes catch Brady? And the answer is he certainly can. But I think in order to do it, I think he's going to have to win 2 more in the next 3 years.
You know, as someone who's a fan of the team, if he doesn't, I'm still okay with that.
He's still going to go down as an all-time.
Yeah, I mean, he's so much fun to watch, and I'm just glad he's playing for my team.
To me, it's still a fun conversation to have. It's a fun conversation to have, both because we're watching it play out in real time, A, and B, because we got told, especially during Brady's prime, that you'll never see another guy have this much success. Something that got up under the very thick skin of the great Lonzo pretty much as long as I've known him at this point.
Because I don't want to think that that's it. It's over. Everything's downhill from now. I mean, from then, I want to see someone rise up through the ranks and do better than who supposedly was the best. The best so far, okay. But that shouldn't mean that there can't be someone who can be better.
And that
records
is-
are made to be broken, and a lot of them have been.
And that is why it is, again, to me, a fun conversation to have. And not one, I've already got people who are hitting us up on Twitter that are like, yo, why are we having this conversation again? Because it's an interesting conversation to talk about possibilities and probabilities and likelihood in the face of two incredible and elite athletes in the world's most difficult job to do is very impressive.
It's the same thing they do when LeBron is coming up on passing somebody else on another record. He'll need this many games in order to do this sort of thing. That's what you do in sports. Whether you want that guy to surpass somebody else or not, you got to track it because they're on their way. And if he continues the projection that he's on right now, he's got a shot at it when people thought there was no chance anyone would.
I think that hinges to me on a win Sunday. And again, to go back to where we were going with this initially, it comes down to play style. If we are ever going to see a guy catch Brady, there are two necessities, I think. Either A, they're going to have to play a style similar to Brady. They are going to have a style of play that does not require a ton of athleticism outside of the ability to deliver.
Can you do that
football.
anymore, though, with the way the game has changed? Is it possible for someone to play the way Brady played and do as well as he did?
Yes, if you have Brady caliber talent. Like, you're not going to find this is part of the reason that I look at guys like a Drake May, who has athleticism, but I see another Kenny Pickett in Drake May. I see a guy who's got a pretty good ball, pretty good delivery, pretty good accuracy, and pretty good athleticism, but he doesn't really excel. I think you've got to excel at something in a quarterback role now. Tom Brady excelled in a stand and deliver pocket passer quarterback mentality. Drew Brees excelled at being slippery in that pocket and precision. Lamar Jackson excels at taking off and getting down the field and becoming a weapon outside of a passer. Patrick Mahomes excels at improvisation with the football when a passing pocket breaks down. He can stand in the pocket and deliver, but that's not where he excels. He excels at giving his wide receivers more time than they would otherwise get to get open by improvisational antics behind the line. I think you've got to excel at something, and there are very few quarterbacks that excel at something, that are stand out good at what they do. This is where again, what would you say Brrrrock Purdy excels at? I would say he's a very good thrower of the football. I would say he is very good at diagnosing defenses, but I don't think he excels at either of those things. I think he's very good at them, but he doesn't excel. That's why he doesn't stand out. That's why he's a game manager. Some people excel at being a game manager. Some people excel at understanding the game. I got into a conversation the other day where I had a guy, Lonzo, damn near had me convinced Tom Brady was the greatest game manager of all time. Like, made the argument Brady's a game manager.
Wait. When I call him a game manager, you get all upset with me. But some other guy who's apparently smarter than me was able to.
Not smarter than you. They built on the foundation that you started that day. They listened to that segment. And we were sitting there having a cigar and a whiskey. And they were like, Lonzo said this, and you popped off on him. And I actually think he might have had a point. And I let it. And I'm not saying he talked to me there. I'm saying I was like, it's a good argument. It's a good argument. I still don't agree, but it's a good argument. So,
by the way, game manager is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not.
It is the only thing Lonzo and I have agreed on today other than wrestling takes. Being a game manager
Which is
not
weird
bad.
that we're on the same
It really is.
vibe there. Yeah.
It's the one spot we usually butt heads.
Well, that's what they've unified everybody in this.
You should know your role.
So, when I'm talking about what a QB excels at, what makes him stand out at a thing, when I look at Mahomes, The answer to that is improvisational ability. He can do things to extend plays without turning himself into a running weapon that help. This is also the reason that I have said if Lamar doesn't get the Ravens over the hump in the next 2-3 years, he's not going to win one, because the longer he's in the game, the less powerful what he excels at, or the less important what he excels at becomes to his game. When you're a quarterback and you get to 34, 35, 36, you're going to slow down. That's just how bodies work. All of us who have one understand that. Mahomes is 28. He's not old, but he's not getting younger. So if Mahomes is going to catch Brady, which he needs what's he need? 4 more rings to do it? If he wins 4 consecutive, he'll be 32, 33 when he's playing for the one that ties Brady. Is that possible? 100%. Is it likely the Chiefs win 4 in a row? No, it's just not likely. So
first back-to-back in a while.
First back-to-back since, 8? Longest NFL non-back-to-back championship drought ever. So, because of the fact that the style of play of Patrick Mahomes does not translate to success at 35, 36 like Brady's game does, if Mahomes is going to catch Brady, this one is a linchpin. This one's a linchpin. Because if he doesn't, the one that gets him halfway, he hits when he's 30. And again, there's a marked decline of guys when they get to be 30 years old. And especially if you're playing a style of ball that rotates around being nimble, being slippery, and having improvisational skills. When you think about guys that were still succeeding at 35, 36, 37, as Patrick might have to do to catch Tom Brady, it's all pocket passer guys. It's all Breezes and Mannings and Bradys. You don't see a lot of guys that are running out of the pocket at 35.
I think the bigger question is, can they replace Travis Kelce? Because Brady had Gronk almost everywhere he went. When Kelce retires, because he is older, then what does he do? I mean, they've got some decent tight ends already. Do they go in the draft now and bring in that next guy?
I don't, for the record, I don't know who that next guy is. So let me phrase that. I do. It's Brock Bowers out of Georgia. He's that next guy, but he's not going to. Let me put it this way. I had a Saints fan yesterday who was like, Rob Brown, we know they're bringing in Kubiak from San Francisco, who loves to use the tight end. Why wouldn't he had Kittle? We got Juwan Johnson. He's like, Rob Brown, could we get Brock Bowers at 14? Hell no. Brock Bowers is not going to be there at 14 because Brock Bowers is George Kittle. He is Travis Kelce. You guys can't get him either unless you want to trade a ton of capital for a tight end. That's not something. Now, I'll tell you this. If there is a team in the league that could justify trading a lot of capital for a tight end, it's you. Because if Kelce calls it after this season, and I have no idea if he is or not, I can't imagine he does.
See, I was speaking down the road, like a couple of years.
Sure.
I don't think he retires after this year.
I don't either. But
especially if they lose.
If you win this Super Bowl, I could see Kelce going, you know what? My brother's done. He's out. I'm dating the world's most notorious woman, most famous woman. She's a billionaire. I'm financially set for if I marry her, hopefully ever, right?
I think he's probably okay if he doesn't marry.
And even if he doesn't, he's probably fine.
He's all right.
But much like Tom Brady, he married a woman who makes more money than he does. That a boy, Trav, living the dream. If Travis walks, Kansas City is one of only like 2 teams that I could justify making a big move to go get a tight end.
But at the same time, Andy Reid has a knack for finding those guys like Pacheco or like Mahomes himself, where people pass over them and don't think they're that guy, and he sees something in them, and he's right. He just seems to have an eye for that.
You're not wrong, but also Brock Bowers is a dude. If I got to replace Travis Kelce, he's the only name on the radar right now that can do it. And Texter says, Pat does not catch Brady without Travis. He does catch Brady without Travis if you find new Travis. Because, again, the improvisational style that Patrick Mahomes utilizes needs a tight end.
That's why
needs a tight end.
That's why you find, I mean, Noah Gray's there. There's some guys there already, but you find that young guy that can sit under and learn from Kelsey and start to develop that rapport, hopefully something similar to what Kelsey has with Mahomes. So when he does retire, you've got at least an able replacement. You're not going to find someone who's exactly like Travis Kelsey because arguably some will say Gronk. Of course, I'm opinionated. I'm going to say Kelsey, greatest tight end of all time.
No, I'm happy to go with Gronk. I think Gronk was a better blocker than TK, and that is half of the job to me. But I would absolutely say Travis Kelsey and George Kittle are two of the best I've seen since Antonio back in the day.
Tony Gonzalez was better than Antonio.
I think he was a better pass catcher. But again, it's a two-facet job. Either way, point here is I'm going to need I think Patrick can do it without Travis if they replace Travis. But I also do not think Patrick can catch Tom if he doesn't win this one, because it's going to get progressively harder moving forward. Why? Because people get up for highly ranked teams. Hashtag callback. Rob Lonzo and you, the Witness and Pitt show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
Smith.
All right, guys, another live read, and we're coming right back. Stay right there, please, and thank you. All right, dudes and dudettes, we are back. Thanks for hanging in there. Good morning, everybody. Just Aspect O, what's up, buddy? What's happening? Welcome in.
I know why the old man do this when they're walking. That actually helps.
There you go.
Weird.
Because you are stimulating nerves outside of the ones that are hurting.
Ah, okay. I wonder if I'm having a reaction to antibiotics because I've been going outdoors like multiple, quadruple times a day since the antibiotics, and the pain started right after all that. Could look it up. I don't believe you. Is Thanos coming back to take one more L? Josh Brolin says it's in the works. Got to be in What If season 3 or something.
Yeah, because you dusted him. So unless you're doing another blip, and if you're bringing Thanos back, you have to argue why he's coming back and not the army that Tony dusted.
Could be another universe Thanos.
Yeah, that's true. We did open the multiverse.
Who knows? Maybe in that one, he's like a nice guy.
A Twitter account that reports Las Vegas news has tweeted out that an NFL player in town for the Super Bowl was attacked by a coyote last night at Lake Las Vegas, according to sources. 5-1, it's Baker Mayfield. No reason.
So it's not, they're not saying it, you didn't automatically think it was of someone who's playing?
No.
It's just someone who's there.
The fact that it says in town for the Super Bowl leads me to believe it's just the player who went to hang out at the Super Bowl.
See, I was thinking like Chad Ochocinco or something.
What? It could be, but it says NFL player. So I'm working on the assumption it's
That
an
they're
active player.
active player.
Which active player would you know who it could be? Aaron Rodgers. Hear me out. He was out in the desert dropping peyote, wasn't paying attention, and the coyote smelled peyote, and A-Rod takes a bite to the arm. All right, one of the things that I tell you guys when we talk sports is check your sources. Check your sources. Are multiple people saying it? Are legitimate people? Are credentialed people? Are people with a reputation saying it?
By the way, you should do that in every news story,
Sure.
not just sports. But yeah.
Sure. But this is a mostly sports talk radio show.
It is? Okay.
Mostly. There is, however, a story that is shaping up right now on the internet that I am going to run with as true until it is proven not true, in a complete counter to my normal philosophy, which is nothing is true until it is proven to be true. I am doing the exact opposite. For this story, I am running with this definitely happened until it is confirmed that it didn't. There is a Twitter account right now that covers, allegedly, news out of Las Vegas locally. This Twitter account has roughly 365,000 followers. Now, the popularity fallacy says that something that is believed to be true by a large amount of people does not make that thing true. But I'm going to go with 365,000 followers. Can't be wrong on Twitter, right? That never happens. There is a Twitter account covering local news out of Vegas reporting that last night an NFL player in town for the Super Bowl was attacked by a coyote. Lonzo and I, during the break on our stream, which you can watch at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, on YouTube by searching The Fan Upstate, or by searching The Rob Brown Show on Twitch. We were taking stabs at it and setting the odds for which NFL player this was. Which NFL player was most likely to have been attacked by a coyote last night? And I'm not going to lie, my first instinct, my first jump was Baker Mayfield. It's Baker. This is a Baker story. Guy coming off of a career year, heads to Vegas, knocks back one too many avocado tequila shots, and ends up walking, stumbling around, not even like on the strip. This guy was over in Reno on knockoff Vegas territory, wandering outside of a casino, ended up staring down a coyote and thinking to himself, I can take him. I can take him. He's a dog. This is just a big dog. I wrestle my Pomeranian all the time because Bake's totally got a Pomeranian. I can take this big-ass dog. But then I really thought about it. And I'm going to change my bet. I was going to go Baker, like 5-1 Baker. Like 5-1 Baker Mayfield. But I'm going to change my bet. I know exactly who it was. It was Aaron Rodgers. Hear me out. Hear me out. Aaron Rodgers has been in the news for multiple things over the past year and a half. The holdout with the Packers, the trade to the Jets, his Jets tenure lasting 75 seconds before he popped his Achilles and was lost for the year, his takes on the vaccine, his appearances on Joe Rogan, etc., etc., etc. But there's one other angle of Aaron Rodgers that's popped him up in the news a lot. That is his, shall we say, experimentation with psychedelic substances. Aaron Rodgers is a mushrooms guy. Now, I am not judging. You do you. Live your life, boo. Have at it. Do your thing. If dropping acid is your thing, I ain't here to judge. Live your best life.
I am. It's against the law. Don't do things that are illegal. We here at the Fan Upstate do not condone illegality.
I don't condone judging other people for their life choices. It's pretty much my entire political philosophy.
The law is the law.
Live and let live. Victimless crimes should not be persecuted.
Watch it. You're starting to sound like a libertarian. You don't,
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not the one who wants to legalize what people can and can't do in their own private life. So, hear me out on this. A-Rod of the football persuasion says, where is it that I can be in front of the most cameras and microphones at the same time? Well, the biggest thing happening in America right now is Las Vegas, Nevada, the Super Bowl. So A-Rod, knowing that right now his career is hinged not on football, but being in the middle of any media circus is a thing. So he pops on a plane from the Big Apple and he flies down to Vegas. And now he's in the midst of said media circus. But hey, it's not going to stop A-Rod from taking some, shall we say, mind-altering substances. So Aaron Rodgers does what any good classic hippie, and Aaron Rodgers is totally a hippie, by the way, what any good hippie would do in Vegas. He goes full Hunter S. Thompson, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He ends up, for no reason at all, having a briefcase full of mind-altering substances. A-Rod walks out into the desert to drop some peyote to have his, mental realignment. Become one with nature. So he drops some peyote. He walks out into the desert and he's sitting there, and suddenly nature is talking to him. And Aaron says, I am one with Mother Gaia. I am one with the earth. I am one with all her creatures. Ow! Son of a 100%. If an NFL player got popped by a coyote last night, it was Aaron high on peyote Rodgers. Anybody want to take a 10-1 on that?
I was going to say, if you're just tuning in just now, This is speculation.
Oh, for sure.
We don't even know if someone really got attacked by a coyote.
I'm not even sure this actually happened, but I elect to believe it. If I go to bed tonight, if I lay my sweet little angelic cherub head down to rest this evening, and I have not found out who it is, then at that point I'll go, all right, this probably didn't happen. But between now and let's say 11 p.m. tonight, that's what I'm saying in my head. If I don't know by 10:30, I'm going to go ahead and go, yeah, this didn't happen. This didn't happen. But until 10:30, when I go to sleep, after watching the Gamecocks and the Rebels, after watching Clemson on the road at North Carolina, by the way, huge game for them. We got to talk about that. If I don't know who it is by the time those two games end and I kiss my fiance goodnight and pet my dog and pull those covers up snug and tight, if I don't know who it is by then I'll say it didn't happen. But between here and there, unless I am told otherwise, Aaron Rodgers dropped acid in the desert and got attacked by a coyote because that's the funniest possible outcome. That's the darkest, funniest possible thing that happened.
All right, I wanted to look it up because I was curious about how big a coyote gets in Vegas. And according to the internet, so it's got to be true, though they may appear larger to some, especially during the cool winter months. Our desert coyotes normally weigh between 20 to 25 pounds. That's still pretty big. Coyotes can live 5 to 7 years and usually breed January through March. Uh-oh.
Prime coyote time.
They're generally more active at dawn and dusk. Coyotes can be seen throughout the day year-round. So I wonder how close they get to civilized areas. I've never been to Vegas, so how much in the desert is it really?
I'll go ahead and tell you a great one. There's coyotes down around where I'm from.
Oh, there are coyotes here.
There's coyotes out where you're around.
Especially down in Gray Court. I've seen them.
Now I'm going to go with this right here. Them coyotes don't want nothing to do with people. They fear you more than you fear them. So if you get bit by a coyote, you likely went out looking for a coyote. Now, if you go looking for a coyote and you get bit by a coyote, that's on you, feller. But I'm going to be 0% shocked if it was A-Rod dropping peyote in the desert and then got dropped by a coyote in the desert. Texas said, you're wrong, Rob. It was a shirtless Jason Kelsey smashing a beer. No, it wasn't, because the story is coyote bites player, not player bites coyote. If the story was an NFL player in town for the Super Bowl attacked a coyote last night, then I'd believe it was shirtless, drunk Jason Kelsey.
He's running with that pack and sleeping out there in the desert. That's not, yeah.
My dog. Fat, bearded legend Jason Kelsey. Texas said, let's get something straight, Rob. Acid and mushrooms are completely different drugs. I don't know what to tell you. I was
going to say, I definitely don't know what to tell you, but if you say so, I think one is a hallucinogen and the other, don't they both cause hallucination?
Yes, but in different ways. They're different. They're chemically different. Now, if you don't realize
that's wrong, James. That's so wrong.
If you don't realize that I was just having some fun inventing a stupid ass fake story where Aaron Rodgers got high in the desert and fought a coyote, you missed the point. That's all it was. Texas said, I was going to say Kadarius Toney, but I don't think he could catch a coyote.
Well done.
That's good. That's good.
He's probably not doing anything else this week. So, why not?
You know what? We can talk about that because he said yesterday at NFL opening day. No, it's not. It's media kickoff, but that's another story. He said yesterday that the Instagram live clips where he definitely said he wasn't hurt.
No, man. I was hacked.
He said they were clipped. My dog. It was IG live.
See, they were taken out of context. And that wasn't even I wasn't even talking about the Chiefs.
Hey, you know that thing where I was wearing a red shirt and I said I was wearing a red shirt? That was taken out of context.
That shirt was blue, man.
That shirt was blue. Allegedly. All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back. We will wrap up the final segment of hour 3, and then it's on to hour number 4, where we'll talk some more Super Bowl, including, I think it's time, Lonzo, that we start getting into some of our prop bets, our exotics. Let's get it. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
In overtime.
South Carolina State 77-65 winners at home over Compton State. Tonight, number 3, North Carolina plays host to Clemson. Tar Heels are 18-4, 10-1 in the ACC. Clemson 14-7, 4-6 in the conference. Wake Forest on the road at Georgia Tech. Charlotte visits South Florida. Both teams are 8-1 in the American. In this week's AP Top 25, the Tar Heels stayed put at number 3, while Duke dropped 2 spots to number 9. South Carolina entered the poll at number 15.
I'll be right back. I have a very fun game that I get to play that I'll tell you about after the show's over.
2.5 minutes.
Don't even need.
Group Pelham Road before it breaks free. 29 Wade Hampton Boulevard, no reported issues, but we are seeing pockets of slower traffic between 291 and 85. Simpsonville, southbound 385 at Fairview Road, that accident cleared and gone. Northbound 385 slowing between 185, the 276 interchange, and Main Street. From the News Talk 98.9, the WORD Traffic Center, I'm Joyce Nielsen on the Fan Upstate.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional grade supplies for every industry, even hard to find products. And we have same day pickup and next day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Angeli.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
My name is Dustin. I'm the head designer for Cody James Black Boots, and this is Behind the Design with Boot Barn. The objective of this new line was basically to create a collection of boots that were going to be elevated, quality made, using the finest materials and craftsmanship available. Some of the key quality construction details that carry throughout the line would be premium cowhide lining.
Does anybody on the stream, here's random, anybody on the stream know where I can find some Greenville Braves merch? I've got all the drive gear. I want a Greenville Braves hat or shirt.
Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
From the Ingles Market Studio, the
James has a suggestion for you.
The vault. Oh, I didn't even think about the vault. Good call, James. Good call. Wrapping up hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo with you. Can't get over this Kadarius Toney couldn't catch the coyote joke. That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, we got a lot of stuff that we still need to run through on the radio broadcast today. 844-326-36 63. That is the renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas phone line. If you would like to get in on that, now is a spectacular time to do it. You can also shoot us a text, 71307. Start that text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. And we do want to remind you before we get there that your home for the Super Bowl is right here and only on the Fan Upstate. We are starting coverage at 2 in the afternoon, taking you all the way up till kick at 6:30. Then the game itself and post-game, all of it right here and only on the Fan Upstate. So if you're one of those sad saps that's got to be working during the Super Bowl, don't you worry. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and the Fan Upstate and the Odyssey app all got you covered. And, of course, big game coverage on the Fan Upstate presented by Solo Stove. Feel the heat of the world's most popular smokeless fire pit, solostove.com. Hey, we have talked about Brrrrrock Purdy over the past couple of weeks and the whole he's a game manager discussion that's been ongoing. Do you know who doesn't care about the game manager tag? Brock Purdy. He said, quote, I think it's sort of funny just because we're winning. I think over time I might get some respect, but more than anything, it hasn't been about proving people wrong or any of that. It's just about proving myself right. Over time, I've told myself I'm good enough and worthy enough to be playing at this level, and over time, I'll prove that to myself, end quote. As Ted Lasso once said to the legendary Jamie Tart, I don't think you realize just how mentally healthy that is, Brock. I like this take. Now, I don't like that he is looking at it from the perspective of respect. I'll get respect. My man, you are in the Super Bowl. You have led this team potentially to a ring. You still got to beat the three-headed monster that is Kelsey, Pacheco, and Mahomes. Or really, I should say Kelsey, Mahomes, and Reed. You've got to slay that dragon. But, Guy, you just took the Niners to the Super Bowl. You're respected, pal. And this is exactly the conversation we had when Cam brought up that pod in the first place. Game manager is not a dirty word.
You know, not only that, if he would have stayed healthy last year, he would have been able to do it in his rookie year.
Yeah.
So this is year number 2 for him. And he's getting a lot of criticism from people when it's only his second year. Not bad for your second year. One game away from the Super Bowl last year and then going to the Super Bowl this year.
One game in a game that if the knee's healthy, they might win. They might win. He might have been there last year too, or shoulder or whatever it was.
Yeah, I remember he couldn't throw the ball. And they put like 2 other guys in. They couldn't throw, so they elected to have him go in and hand the ball off.
Yeah. This right here. Listen, we talked a lot back in the second hour of the show about motivation and where and how guys find motivation. And as Kobe and Mike have said, if you can't find motivation, you make motivation. I was listening to a story from, who was it? Kevin Garnett?
I thought you were going to say I was listening to a TED Talk yesterday.
It might as well have been. I want to say it was Garnett. I could be wrong, but it was an older player. But my Instagram reels right now are pretty much dominated. My algorithm is pretty much dominated right now by basketball players telling stories about Larry and Mike and Kobe and Shaq in their prime. There is not much I love more than listening to old NBA players talk about Larry Bird being Larry Bird. Arguably the greatest talker in the history of the league. Anyway, I was listening to a story about Mike, and I want to say it was Kevin Garnett, but he said, we got this kid on the team. He's a rookie, and he's having a great game. He's having a breakout game. Got like 25 at the half. Mike's guarding him, and he's still got like 25. And he goes, I'm bringing this guy over, and I'm talking to him as we're going to the end of the, I think, third quarter. Guy's got like 30 points as a rook. Mike's guarding him. Mike's having a good game. He's at like 27, 28, but not a great game. And he goes, I called him over, and I was like, yo, Keep whooping that dude's. Keep getting after him. Keep going after Mike. You're beating him up. You're busting him up. Keep beating up Mike. You got this guy, right? And he said, when I turned around to walk back to the bench, who was standing 2 feet from me? Who had just listened to everything I said when I kept saying, hey, kill that guy. You are killing Michael Jordan. Keep it up. Don't change anything. Who was standing 2 feet away when I said that? Michael Jordan. He said, you want to know what happened after that? Mike scored 27 points in the fourth quarter, and the guy guarding him, the rookie, did not score another basket in that game. Mike found his motivation. Mike came out to play that game like Michael Jordan did, but then when it got pointed out that a rookie was cooking him, Mike hit another level and won that game in the fourth quarter for the Bulls. There was another story about Kareem, where Kareem and Magic were playing a pickup game. Kareem and Magic were playing a pickup game with a bunch of college guys, a bunch of UCLA guys. They went out to UCLA and they were playing games with them. And it was Magic and 4 the UCLA guys versus Kareem and 4 the UCLA guys. And Magic and Kareem were kind of busting each other up on both ends of the court. And it was, I think, Magic telling the story. And he said, this is how good Kareem was. I think it was Kareem. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kareem, like older Kareem. He said, me and my guys were tied with Kareem. I put up a game winner. Kareem went up and blocked it. And I called goaltending because it was coming down. He said, I called goaltending. Kareem was like, that's not goaltending. Said, yes, it was. No, it wasn't. So the UCLA coach at the time was there, said, was it goaltending? And the guy goes, yeah, it was goaltending. Magic's team wins. And Kareem said, run it back one more time. One more. Game to 12. He said, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, none of y'all are making a shot on this end of the court. Magic said Kareem blocked like the next 15 consecutive jump shots. Didn't matter who took it. Kareem was there to block it. Something clicks in elite level athletes. Something clicks that takes it from I am motivated to be the best to I am personally going to make sure you know exactly who the hell I am at the end of this game. If Brock has to find his inspiration in I'm tired of being called a game manager, I watch out for this kid on Sunday. I think this game's going to be excellent. Because on one hand, he can say all day, I'm not thinking about it, but all Mahomes has heard all week is, if you want to be Brady, you have to blank. And I think Mahomes, if it's not motivation to beat Brady, I think it's motivation, Zoe, to not be Brady, to be something else. I don't want to be the next Brady. I want to be the first Mahomes.
Nah, they need to keep that thing that they've had, the motivation they've had all season, being told, well, the Chiefs are not the Chiefs anymore.
Sure.
And all the things that they use near the end of the season to get where they are now is not over yet. They got to keep that attitude. They got to keep that aggression to win this game Sunday.
And on the flip side, if you're Brock Purdy and the 49ers, all you've heard all week is they're still the Chiefs. They're still the Chief. They're still Kansas City. They don't lose in these situations. Well, there's your motivation. All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back in the final hour of the show. We'll get some of our exotic props in, and some more. But before we get there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to make your life better. Watch this.
Or if you're not on a stream, listen to it. After much discussion and debate, the South Carolina Gamecocks men's basketball team finally debuted in the AP Top 25 poll. Lamont Paris's team holds not just a 19-3 record, but now owns the number 15 spot, which is motivation for everybody, apparently, ahead of both Alabama and Kentucky. The Gamecocks host now unranked Ole Miss, who will try really hard at home tonight. The National Labor Relations Board has ruled that members of the Dartmouth men's basketball team has the right to unionize. The NLRB has stated in the past it believes college athletes to be employees, and multiple law professors have said if Dartmouth players are allowed to unionize, the argument that all athletes can do the same will be pretty much a slam dunk. We are your exclusive home for the Super Bowl in the Upstate. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. Sunday as the Kansas City Chiefs take on San Francisco 49ers. The Super Bowl plays here on the Fan Upstate. Well, the first two I didn't cough. This one was not as good. Been trying to eat a cough drop like about 5 minutes before, so the coating's still there. It worked the first couple of times, but then I took a drink of water before and it washed it away. South Carolina better not lose that game.
The Solo Stove Smokeless Burning Question of the Day. The burning question on everyone's mind is which team has the head coaching advantage between Kansas City and San Francisco. Both are extremely talented, but Kansas City's head coach is 3-0 versus San Francisco's head coach, including a head-to-head win in the big game in 2020. Today's Smokeless Burning Question is presented by Solo Stove. Feel the heat of the world's most popular smokeless fire pit, solostove.com. The Sultan of Sizzle, the Titan of Toastiness, the Kingpin of Kindling.
Well done. I hear the fire in the background.
That's a nice touch.
Yes.
That's a nice touch.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show, it's Bad MGM Tonight, Monday through Friday from 7 to 11, only on The Fan. Bad MGM Tonight is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates on all of the night's games as they happen. Get the latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with real-time, relevant sports wagertainment tonight at 7. Bad MGM Tonight, exclusively on The Fan.
I need to get DDP on the show so I can ask him some DDP yoga questions. I do believe I saw he's coming to Comic-Con, so.
I would love to talk to DDP. Maybe he could fix me.
Exactly.
Because I can't get motivated, you know?
So you just go lights down?
I was washed out on the stream.
Oh, okay.
I'm already white enough. I didn't need the help.
It's so pasty.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. The final hour of the Rob Brown radio program goes right now. This is the Fan Upstate. How do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Hello, America. What's up, world?
I'm talking to America here.
It is great to be with you. Hope that you are well. Happy Super Bowl week. Lonzo and I, we're allowed to say that. That other station, those other stations, all those other stations, they can't. We can. Because we are your home for the Super Bowl coming up this Sunday. Coverage starts at 2, kickoff at 6:30. We're taking you all the way through post-game right here and only on the Fan Upstate. You know, I was kicking around topics because I got a bunch of them that we can, should, need to, will get to in the final hour. But the more I thought about it, the more I think that we probably need to bring back up a conversation that we had back in the first hour of the show for two reasons. Number one, that was 3 hours ago. And in radio years, that's like 5 days ago.
Yeah, but you teased something else.
I did, and I'm coming to that. I teased it
Okay,
in the hour.
because
Because
I was looking forward to that something else. And I know we got all week.
Oh yeah,
But still,
that's a big one, and we'll do that next segment. But I feel like this one's a big one too. I feel like this is, ladies and gentlemen, and I mean this.
I thought you were gonna say this is the story of a girl.
This is the story of some basketball players. This is a story that I genuinely...
Of a lovely lady.
All right, we got to stop. So we're just going to be in TV themes. The other day, we were in the Fortress of Nerditude, and Chris mentioned the TV theme song, and then I just sat there listening to TV theme songs for an hour. We talked yesterday about a story that broke last Friday, which is the advisory group established between the Southeastern Conference and the Big Ten. And I said then, as I said earlier in this show, hey, listen, you know me, at least I hope you do at this point. I've been doing this almost 4 years now. Actually, we are now, Zoe, inside of a month away from my 4-year anniversary here on the station.
Yay.
I know.
I'm excited. Are we like having cake or something?
I don't hate that plan. I do not hate the plan.
I'm not providing the cake. I was just asking if we were having cake.
Now I hate the plan.
No, I could provide cake. When's the king cake thing got to happen? That's what month is that?
Now, and I'm not saying that it's probably showing up to my house on Wednesday, but
oh, okay.
It is. I may bring you a slice.
You've done that once in our entire time together.
Delightful, wasn't it?
As far as saying I'm going to bring food,
but you know
and
why?
you brought it once.
Because I do not share my king cake. My fiance got her first slice of king cake 2 years after we met. That's how much I get one, dog. And when it's gone, it's gone. All right, so we got to get to the story. Yesterday, I told you, I've been telling you since I got here, I don't like hot take radio. It's just not my bag. It's not for me. It's not my game. I hate hot take radio like I hate the person in the white Ford Explorer who parked at the building across from our parking lot.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. I think they've done that before.
I despise them as a person. You're a bad person who drives that car. And if you're listening, I don't feel bad. You're a bad person.
He hopes your therapy goes bad. Or
nope. I hope your front
left
left tire goes flat. That's what I hope.
Dude.
I said what I said. So, I don't like hot take radio. I think it's lazy. I think it's I think it's a good way to not have to actually invest time and put the stories
I just want to
together.
point out, I didn't divert you this time. You did it yourself.
This one's on me, and I don't apologize for it. Okay? Now, let's get focused.
Can you? Okay. I want to see.
That is why when I say unto you, dear listeners, that I think this to be true, you can take it to the metaphorical bank. I think the NCAA died last Friday. Now, it's going to be a slow death. Death by 1,000 cuts. But I think it's dead. I think it's toast. I think it's roast. I think it's gone. The B1G and the SEC have now established a path forward in which they basically become the governing body of college football. And I do think it creates, as a texter called earlier, and it's something I've been saying for at least a couple of years. I've been working with a great one here on this show. I think there is an inevitable reality, and it is this. You are going to end up with two college football landscapes. Or you're going to end up with two super conferences and then one conference that exists solely to fill in the non-conference schedule of teams in those two super conferences. That is, if the two super conferences don't decide to work together, fill in each other's non-conference schedule, and screw everybody else. You're going to end up with one large entity that is some combination of the SEC and the Big Ten. And then you're going to end up with the everybody else conference. And I think that the very best at this point that the NCAA can hope for down the line is that they become the governing body of the EEC. Whatever becomes of the NCAA, whether it retains that name or not, they become the governing body of the everybody else conference. So you're going to have one college football landscape that is the Big Ten and the SEC, and they're going to have their two champs, and those champs are going to play each other to determine the national champion. And then you'll have the EEC, and that's where the Boston colleges are going to play. The Syracuses are going to play. That's where everybody who's not either already in the SEC or the Big Ten or who is remaining to grab an invite, Clemson, Florida State, Miami, yada, yada, yada. Everybody else that gets left behind will play in this other college football. And let's call it what it is, ladies and gentlemen, much like the XFL and USFL and, sorry in advance, UFL, but UFL, if it ain't the big dogs, America ain't watching. Unless you went to Cuse or Boston College, you ain't watching Cuse or Boston College ball. Just like, and this is true, you don't watch it now. Any of y'all gone out of your way to watch Syracuse if they weren't playing Clemson in the last couple of years? Nope. Any of y'all gone out of your way to watch Boston College play the last couple of years if they weren't playing Clemson? Nope. So nothing's going to change. It's just that all those schools are going to have to fight for their lives in order to stay alive, in order to stay relevant. And it is going to be a fight, dudes. It's going to be a fight. So, told you about that story on Monday. Told you that I think it is the death of the NCAA. There's another thing that just happened as well that is going to impact it. And if you have missed this story, we're not friends. I'm back to tell you about it. So that was a stream thing that I worked under the radio show.
Yeah, very good at this. They didn't need to know.
Very good at this. So the National Labor Relations Board is a entity, an independent organization that effectively is a governing body. It's an independent federal agency that is dedicated to protecting the rights of laborers, workers. It is a independent government agency that protects the right of private sector employees. It is also an entity that does a lot to protect people who create unions, join unions, work under unions, protect union rights, etc. When a union is under assault from a company, the NLRB, the NLRB will step in and kind of protect them. They also help to set definitions, to define different groups and entities and people for legal arguments. And they have just done exactly that. The National Labor Relations Board ruled yesterday, and now this is a regional chapter of the NLRB. A regional director of the NLRB ruled on Monday that Dartmouth men's basketball players are employees of Dartmouth University and would be now allowed to unionize. This is a landmark decision. This is a decision that I think, no matter what the future holds, we will look back on. This will be a day, as was last Friday when the B1G and the SEC got together and said it's a cool kids party and nobody else is invited. Not you ACC, not you Big 12, not you corpse of the Pac-12. None of you are invited. I think yesterday is a day we're going to look back because I think that this is the first successful challenge of the NCAA's amateurism model. This is the first time that a governmental entity stepped in and went, yeah, no, they're employees. They're employees and they need to be treated as employees. And that does include giving them the right to organize, to unionize, and to act as employees. Laura Sachs is the NLRB regional director that issued the 26-page ruling that was initially reported by Front Office Sports. Laura Sachs wrote in the argument, the biggest point, quote, because Dartmouth has the right to control the work performed by the Dartmouth men's basketball team and the players perform that work in exchange for compensation, I find that the petition for basketball players are employees within the meaning of the National Labor Relations Act, end quote. Now, here's my question for you. Does anybody here disagree with that? Does anybody listening disagree with her assessment? I don't. Dartmouth has the right to control the work performed by the Dartmouth men's basketball team. That is true. Dartmouth sets the schedule. Dartmouth sets the practice schedule. Dartmouth sets the class schedule. Dartmouth sets the flights in and out, the bus rides in and out. Dartmouth sets all, again, if you've ever been a collegiate athlete, you are aware that the school sets every element of your schedule. From the minute you wake up till the minute you go night-night, your schedule is dictated to you by the school. And the NLRB director here is saying, look, if you are going to dictate to these kids where they're going to be, when they're going to be, how they're going to be, what they're going to be, and how they're going to do it, then it is at that point a spot that you are dictating their work life to them, which is a thing that an employer does. Now, Lonzo and I are very lucky. Our boss is basically like, hey, do your damn job, and I'm not worried about it. But we have stuff dictated to us. That's why we're employees. We get compensation for doing those things. That's why we're employees. That is the definition of a college basketball player. The type of compensation might be different. Lonzo and I are compensated to the tune of millions of dollars annually for doing this job. Shh. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that?
Goes against the narrative.
Gotcha. Don't want to upset the narrative. College basketball players are compensated in a different way. They are compensated in way of scholarships, room, board, tuition, flights, free gear, free swag, yada, yada, yada. And so they are compensated, but in being compensated, they become employees, according to the NLBR. I'm curious to see, by the way, the MLB Players Association, Tony Clark, their executive director, I won't read it to you, but put out a long press release congratulating them and talking about how this is going to change the game. It does open a floodgate of new questions. Does it not? It opens a floodgate of new questions. So these players now get to collectively bargain if they establish a union, and they've already said that they are going to. They are now allowed to collectively bargain. What are they going to bargain for? Hey, we know you provide us with room and board and this and that and the other, and we would like now, on top of that, compensation for, actually playing the game. Or do they compensate maybe for better health insurance? They're putting their bodies on the line every time they get on the court to play basketball. But see, now here's the other part. We all know that the overwhelming majority of college athletic departments operate in the red, not the black, operated at a deficit, not a net gain. They have to get money from other parts of the system in order to provide the opportunity. So at which point, if they do start to unionize and ask for more, at which point do some schools, let's say, I don't know, hypothetically, Dartmouth, go to the players and go, hey, guys, we provided this basketball team to you at a loss. We operate in the red. This team doesn't make money. You don't make money. You are being overcompensated for the amount of money that you bring in. And now that you're a union and now that we get to negotiate, we're actually going to put on the table how much running a basketball team cost us. And we'll compensate you fairly. we're not going to do basketball anymore. We're operating in the red. This team loses the school money that we could put into, being an Ivy League school, being an elite school that kids from across the country compete their asses off just to be allowed to give us tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to come here. You are now asking us to give you the same to be here. You don't do anything other than give us a sports program that's on the radar. Hey, Lonzo, what's the mascot of Dartmouth?
The Darts.
The Dartmouth Darts. You ready for the fun part?
You got to look it up. I see you
Correct.
typing.
Correct. Dartmouth. I'll be real with you. I typed in Dartmouth mascot, and I got a bunch of different names. It looks like Dartmouth was originally the Indians, though that was never officially a mascot. They're the big green. But because when they changed the mascot, the students were like, lulz, let's have some fun. Now Dartmouth is represented by Keggy the Keg, a beer keg with a face.
The Dartmouth Kegs.
It's the unofficial mascot of Dartmouth College, an Ivy League college in Hanover, New Hampshire, United States. Keggy is an anthropomorphic beer keg created in 2003 by members of the college humor magazine, the Dartmouth Jack-O-Lantern, to fill the void that followed the abolition of the unofficial Native American mascot in 1974. Due to its nature, the mascot was controversial on Dartmouth's campus, and it was reported in a variety of national media. With time, however, it has become an ingrained part of Dartmouth culture. I am, for the record, very pro keggy.
The keg was controversial. It's college, right?
It's an Ivy League school.
So
they drink Manhattan, beer out of a keg.
Okay, all right.
So when we get to the point that labor unions start to pop up, and they will, literally, this one's already happened. They are going with the Ivy League Players Association. It's for the hoopsters only right now, but hey. If the hoopsters were able to make this argument to the NLBR or RB or whatever the initials are, who the hell is to say the softball team's not going to make it? The baseball team, the football team are going to make the exact same argument. It's going to be the exact same argument, and it's going to be exactly as successful. And now every athlete on that campus has the right to join a union and negotiate, collectively bargain with the university. And at some point, smaller schools are going to say, look, here's the deal. We were already operating in the red to keep these teams going. We can't go further in the red to give you more money than we were already pumping in to keep the program afloat. We were operating at an L to let you play basketball. We cannot operate in the red to let you play basketball and give you X thousands of dollars of compensation on top of it. So no more basketball. We had fun. Keggy the Kegerator is going to have to find something else to do on Wednesday and Saturday nights. Sorry, Keggy, you're out of a job.
Yeah, that might work at Dartmouth, but could that work in North Carolina? Could they say no more basketball?
Basketball makes money at North Carolina. The athletes there will have an argument. You are making X million a year. We are the ones they are coming to see. Nobody's coming to see John Shire coach at Duke. They're coming to watch the players play. Nobody's going to watch North Carolina's athletic director, athletic direct. They're coming to see Armando Bacot, right? So those guys are going to go, yo, everybody's coming to see me play, not you, coach, not you administrate, not you this, not you that. They're coming to see me. I want my cut. And at a school that operates in the black, that makes sense. Now, the interesting thing is going to be the bargaining. When North Carolina comes in, they go, here's our basketball budget. Here's our money in. Here's our money out. Here's our net profit. We're willing to negotiate over how much of that you get versus how much goes back into the school for Title IX obligations, et cetera, et cetera. But what happens to South Dakota State University? Their basketball team damn sure does not operate in the black. They're in the red. For sure. And if they're in the red and the players go, yo, we want to cut, they can go, of what? We are literally losing money solely to allow you to play basketball for our university. If we cut this program, we have more money. So is this going to, and this is my question, is this going to kill small sports at small schools? Will we start seeing, we've already seen it happening. Furman lost the baseball team. Lots of teams, lots of baseball teams. We've seen a lot of schools. There's a lot of schools that can't host men's soccer because not only is it a money-losing effort at most schools, but it also creates a world where not only do you have to fund this team that loses money, but you got to fund another women's sport to meet Title IX requirements on the other side, which is another money-losing endeavor. At which point do schools stop funding a ton of smaller college sports because they do not want to take on more employees? That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm concerned with. That's what I'm interested in. And at the same time, and this is going to hurt because I know there's a lot of parents of kids that are really optimistic about that cross-country scholarship or that track and field or swimming and diving or field hockey or lacrosse scholarship. Here's the fun reality. If schools start pulling the plug on those sports because they want fewer employees, not more, fewer people to issue paychecks, not more, then all of a sudden, a ton of kids who were relying on cross-country scholarships and field and track and field scholarships and swimming and diving scholarships and equestrian scholarships, et cetera, unless some big-time boosters step in to start paying those salaries, those sports go away. And if those sports go away, those scholarships go away. And if those scholarships go away, now there are tens of thousands of students every year who don't get to go to college because that was their ticket to get that advanced education and enhance their quality of life. And now they don't have that opportunity anymore. I'm very pro-player empowerment, but I would be lying to you to tell you I'm not concerned about the direction of those sports. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, that was depressing. Let's have some fun with some exotic Super Bowl props when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, give it just a second. Be right back.
Neither one of them were fighters. That's the thing.
Yeah, but Ratatouille knows his way around a knife.
That's true.
Stuart Little's a little punk, little wuss.
So
Little wuss mouth.
Stuart Little is very passive. So yeah. Then they ask him, could Tony Soprano be an athlete, be a pro athlete?
Tony Soprano was an elite high school football player. He could have gone D1. You got to watch the show to get that joke.
Would he have faced what's his name from Married with Children? You know.
No, Al Bundy was the elite athlete.
Okay.
He scored 2 touchdowns in the state championship game on a broken leg.
Or Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. I mean, if you start putting athletes in there, I think it becomes a bigger question. If we were to do a bracket here, I think fake actor athlete would be a good bracket. I couldn't get away with it over on Upstate Pulse because I'm the only one who knows anything about sports. So. I hate this algorithm where if you linger on a video, suddenly you get like 10 of them. Although the gym fights are not bad. I'm enjoying those. Last one was jiu-jitsu against street, and jiu-jitsu won.
Jiu-jitsu wins every time.
Yeah. I couldn't hear it, but finally, dude's got him in some sort of ankle lock, and he's talking to him, like telling him, okay, I'll break it if you don't stop. I'm guessing that's what he's saying.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Texter says, Rob, not going to lie, king cake, slightly overrated. Give me pound cake or angel cake all day. Dude, I'm going to say, and this is going to sound some kind of way, you ain't had a good king cake, dude. You
All
just
right.
ain't had a good king cake.
I got to point out, I've only had it once, and it's not top of the list.
You also
on cake.
did, and I will acknowledge that while you had one of the better king cakes in New Orleans, it's also a king cake that got made, packaged, shipped, was at my house for like 3 days. When you get a good, fresh king cake, it's perfection. It's perfection. I want you to think about the best pastry you've ever had, but then with that perfect sugar coating on the top. It's when you get a fresh king cake, it's the longer it sits. This is why when I get a king cake,
best pastry is probably baklava.
I love baklava.
Yeah, I just
does
don't.
not touch a good king cake. The problem is the further you get, and this is 100% one of my elitist food takes. The further you get away from NOLA, the less king cakey the king cakes are. I'm telling, if you go to box grocery store A and just get generic king cake, you're gonna be disappointed. It is not the same. That is like going to a gas station and they sell pasta. It's not going to be good Italian food, man. And then comparing it to a great Italian joint. Like, it's not the same. Will it serve the purpose in that moment? Sure, I guess. Are you going to regret it later? Probably. But it's not the same, man. All right. Let's go with some Super Bowl props, because I got to tell you, when I brought it up, it's the first time I've seen Lonzo fist pump in a hot minute, man. Like, in a hot minute.
It's requiring physical effort. Trust me.
You got to start with, there are some classics, right? You got to start with one of the OG classics. What color's the Gatorade dump going to be? Here's your odds as it stands right now. Plus 275. Shocker. This is usually further down the list. Purple is plus 275. Blue is plus 450. Yellow or green is plus 425. Orange is plus 350. Red is plus 350. Clear. You can get clear at a value. Clear or water is 12-1. And no Gatorade dump is 16-1.
First of all, the Gatorade dump's going to happen. Both teams.
If the Chiefs win, Andy's totally getting it. Shanahan's the guy that I could see telling the team, if you dump me, you're off the team next year. You're not coming back for a repeat run.
Well, that's no fun.
I don't disagree.
You got to go with red. I mean, both teams are red. Why would it not be red?
That was my initial thought, and it's sitting at plus 350. But I also know, because I literally read an article where somebody analyzed every Gatorade dump of the past couple of years. Red's falling out of favor with players the last couple of years. A lot of folks shifting over to the blue. Blue right now is sitting at plus 450, but it has gotten more popular over the years. I think it's a bit of a run. But I'd go. Texas said, you think the water boy bets the house on the Gatorade dump every year? Man, I got to tell you, like, I'm usually against insider trading, but if you're the water boy for the Chiefs or the Niners, it's worth a sprinkle, right?
Yeah, you already know the color.
And you're risking your job for it.
That's true.
But if you're putting 10 grand down on it being blue and you know the Chiefs have blue Gatorade, you're basically betting the money line.
Although also illegal, you can let your boy know. And your boy can hook you up after he wins, you know?
All right. Over under on the number of songs performed during the halftime show is currently set at 8.5. You can go over or under for minus 110.
It's Usher, right?
It is Usher.
I'm gonna go under because he's a dancer.
I don't
right?
disagree.
Because he's a dancer, so he's got to dance.
I don't disagree. But you got to take this into consideration. A solid chunks of Usher's songs are not family friendly, which means that a bunch of his songs he's got to medley together so that he doesn't have to get into the freaky stuff when the kids are still watching and the FCC Karens start calling in because my sweet baby boy heard Usher say a dirty phrase.
Oh, don't start with that. I mean, we know after Janet Jackson, they're still. I think they went a little lax. So it wouldn't shock me if some more stuff slipped through. I mean,
wouldn't either.
Look at last year. Last year was when Eminem and all those guys were on, right? And they were all clean, as clean as they could be.
Clean as they could be.
Right.
But Usher's got a song called Love in This Club, which is literally about doing it in the club. There's no verses to that you can get away with. But if he wants to drop the chorus in there, that works. And keep in mind, all you have to hear is the chorus for most books to register that as a song, right? So if he just hits a chorus of Love in This Club, that counts towards the number.
I'm still going under because
okay.
I think more music. Now the thing is, music transition. If you transition between one music to another while you're dancing,
it counts.
It
counts.
What if it's not a song? What if it's just a musical interlude?
I don't know. That's a great question. And that's one of those things that how deep do you want to dive into the rules before you place your bet? Right now, favorites for songs to be the first song. My Way at plus 225. Yeah, plus 255. OMG plus 800. DJ Got Us Falling in Love plus 500. Love in This Club plus 600.
Admittedly, I don't know a lot of Usher's titles. Doesn't mean that if I didn't hear the song, I wouldn't know it. Titles always get me, titles of songs. But you mentioned In the Club several times. That's been used on everything. So you're probably going to go with what's most familiar. But do you do that first? I'm going to go, what was the Love in the
Love in His Club. DJ got us falling in love.
I'm going to go with that.
That's a good pick. That's not a big pick. Question is, does he go? Now, I'll tell you one I'm not going to take. I'm not going to take Yeah. As much as that is probably like the one song that all of America knows, like that was a mainstream crossover hit. Here's another thing. You can bet on if any guest performers show up. Here's a couple of them. Alicia Keys is minus 330. She's showing up. Luda is minus 250. Little John minus 102. If Luda and Lil Jon are both minus numbers, that means Vegas believes they will be there. And if those two guys show up, is getting performed. But Usher is not doing the first song with a guest. The first song is going to be all Usher, which means the first song is definitely not going to be So there's an elimination right there just by thinking this out.
Are there any odds
show.
of Taylor Swift joining him on stage?
There are. I'm sure that there are somewhere, but let's see. Taylor Swift is plus 550 to make an appearance during the halftime show to perform.
Because would it
5.5 to 1?
Would it shock you? It wouldn't shock me. I don't think she will, but it wouldn't shock me.
I think she's there for Travis, and I don't think she wants to take away from that because Taylor is in love.
And plus, she had the first option to do the entire show, and she said no.
Yep. Yep. Here's a fun one. The jersey number of the first player to score a touchdown, over or under 22.5.
Over.
You're going over. You're taking, you got Christian McCaffrey in that group.
Right. You also got Kelsey.
Travis Kelce, but you're giving up Deebo Samuel. You're giving up Isaiah Pacheco. You're giving up Patrick Mahomes to run one in.
Right.
You're giving up Brock to run one in.
Right.
Right. So you're taking Kelsey
or Kittle.
And Kittle.
Yeah, a tight end scores the first touchdown. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that play. Both quarterbacks are under 22.5. Pacheco, Deebo under 22.5. But you get, I'll tell you who you get that I love the over for you as well. Christian McCaffrey. You're getting 23. They set it at 22.5. You're giving me CMC, Kittle, Kelsey, Ayuk. I like that group. I really do. I like that group. Let's see. Let me find some of the other ones right now. You can bet the final score. The last time these two teams got together in the Super Bowl, 31-20 was the final. You can bet a repeat final score of 31-20 at plus 25,000.
Yeah, I think it's going to be less than that. So, no.
If you take that score, you're also betting the over. You can take, in another repeat bet, Patrick Mahomes to score the first touchdown and Kyle Juszczyk to score the second at 50,000 to 1.
Do people who do this, do they look at all the odds? And I'm talking about people who actually bet this stuff. Or do they just go, works for me, and just throw some cash down on it?
I think it's just fun.
Okay.
You throw $5 at that bet to happen, and think about this. Let's say you throw $5 at that bet to happen, and let's say Mahomes runs in for the touchdown. How electric is that next drive for you for the 49ers, right? I'll give you one. I'll give you this.
I think it's less electric if it's $5 as it would be if you put down $500.
I don't disagree, but if you're plus 50,000, that is 5,000 to 1. If you put a $5 bet down and that hits, you're walking with $2,500. You're telling me they are not fired up for that?
That would be nice.
I got 100 down to win 110 on the Chiefs, and I am losing my mind already, right? That's where I am. Let me give you why. All right, so somebody asked on that, who cares about this, Rob? Let me tell you why this is fun for us. Last year, during the Super Bowl, one of the guys from the soccer fan club through a Super Bowl party we all went to. One of the props that you can bet on, Lonzo, is will there be a doink in the Super Bowl? Will a kicker hit the upright with a kick?
See, I saw that earlier, and I just immediately thought Doink the Clown. And I was like, why would Doink the Clown be at the...
You're such a wrestling dork.
I know.
Will there be a doinked kick? Will there be a kick that hits the upright? Last year, there were probably 12 of us in the room watching this game together. And we all decided, bleep it, let's all bet yes. And not just all bet yes, Lonzo, but let's all throw $20 at a doink. It paid out like, I think it was 18 to 1, 17 to 1, something like that. So if that bet hits, you're in the hundreds of dollars if you bet 20. We get late in the game. There was a doink. It was, and I mean this, the single most electrified room I have ever been in that wasn't a live sporting event. There were about 12 bros in this room that were jumping around, hugging each other in the middle of the living room like we just won the Super Bowl. It was more electric than my family's house when the Saints won the Super Bowl, and we were gassed that night. There were a dozen dudes, probably half of them went tarps off, all half liquored up, losing their minds over a doinked kick because we all just made like $300 on a stupid kick.
I thought you were still talking about your family. I didn't realize you jumped back.
I jumped back to that would have been weird. That would have been weird. In fact, now I gotta look up the doink odds. Will any word be forgotten during the singing of the national anthem? If you want to go yes to this, it's 9-1.
Who's singing it?
Reba. You think Reba's not forgetting?
She's getting older, but she's fine.
Who will be the Super Bowl? Who will be the Super Bowl MVP's first mention in his speech? Will it be one of his teammates at -145? Will it be God at +135? Will it be the city at 10-1? A family or family member at 14-1? Coach 18-1? Owner 35-1? Or none of them at 18-1? Will there be a score in the first minute of the game? You are 9-1 if you say yes. Will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor on the field after the game? Yes is 10.5-1. These are great, man.
Gee, who jacked up those odds? Swifties, probably.
Swifties.
I'm just guessing.
Will any player be ejected for throwing a punch or fighting? 750.
What are the odds that Travis Kelce is that guy?
Dude, I don't know specific, but you can get any player. It's +750. Will there be a doink? This year it went down. +375 for a yes on the doink. If you think I'm not throwing another $20 at that, let's take a break. Come back. National anthem. What am I talking about?
Well, I mean, we can sing it if you want. I just,
No, I'll leave it to Reba. She's got this. The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate.
That reminds me of the first Super Bowl special I did. We were in the old building, I think. I went around and had all the DJs sing the national anthem, and then I cut it together. But actually, now that I remember, I asked them to do it in another voice because I had someone doing, what's his name? Oh, now who's the guy with, I don't know who am I, but I know I love Aaron you. Neville? Aaron Neville, yeah. Someone did Aaron Neville. I couldn't remember his name. I just remember he's a large black man with a huge mole on his face. Yeah. Well, when you have an idea and you go back and start looking and realize you already did it, like a couple decades ago. While I'm driving to work this morning, I'm thinking.
My brother just said that was a pretty good Aaron Neville. Not gonna lie, got a compliment from the little brother on your Aaron Neville impression.
Thank you very much. I'm probably the same size he was when he sang that song too, but who couldn't put their heart into something while they're singing with Linda Ronstadt? It was Linda Ronstadt, wasn't it? I believe.
I think so.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
Give and you give. This tax season you get with Straight Talk Wireless.
It was Linda Ronstadt. So. She never seemed to have the right haircut. I mean, she was pretty. But she never see. It's like no one told her, hey, with a different haircut.
Reba is perfect. If she doesn't sing the word, then the word shouldn't be in there. On the list of great Americans, Reba McEntire ranks dramatically higher than Francis Scott Key. I will agree with that.
All right, time to ask Rob what the X is going on, even though he did his best to ruin the whole segment throughout the day, as he does every day. Was still able to scour and find things that he probably will know about. All right, the first thing that's Xing is Ken Dorsey. This just started, so you may not know this.
So I did see Ken Dorsey yesterday was asked about getting canned by Buffalo, and he's like, hey, look, Sean decided it was time to move on. I'm over it. It's on to new, fun, exciting things. Tell me he's going to be the Raiders offensive coordinator.
All right.
That's all I got.
No, I think he's a Browns coordinator. I believe he's hired for the Browns because someone asked him a question about Deshaun Watson. Here's why he's Xing. He said, from everything I've heard, he's a quality person.
Ken.
That was a direct quote, by the way.
Yeah. Cool. I got nothing.
Yeah,
Ken, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, talk about out of touch. That's just all right. The next thing that's Xing is Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram last night from our New Orleans Pelicans did something that has not been done since the late 90s when he hit 5 consecutive 3-pointers on 5 consecutive possessions. Again, that kind of sounds like a stretch that hasn't been done since like 98, but apparently it hasn't. 5 consecutive threes made on 5 consecutive possessions as New Orleans got a big win last night, and the Pels aren't a bad basketball team.
Coming down the court, feed Brandon. He's on fire.
Hey, if B.I. hits 2 in a row, you let him hit 3 in a row.
Well, yeah.
And I got to tell you, after he hits 5, if I'm Willie Green, all I'm doing is running spring B.I. for another 3 until he misses, for sure.
Keegan says, did they have TV cameras in 98?
I don't know. Ask Alonzo.
Is that a Wilt stat?
Yeah,
they did. So were you. You were alive in 98. I was talking to Rob. I don't know about you, Keegan. You were alive in 98.
Will the first field goal missed of the game be wide left at plus 115, wide right at plus 115, or short at plus 325? That includes a block.
I'm going to go wide right.
Okay.
All right. The next thing that is Xing is fractal.
Fractal. Fractal is I have no idea why.
You know what?
Fractal is.
I
trending.
think it's trending because people like the word fractal.
It's a good word.
Do you know what fractal is?
It does. It is divided into fractions. It is I don't know the exact definition of it, but it's basically in pieces.
Well, it's a geometrical measure.
Yeah.
When I looked it up, why it's just a bunch of like psychedelic fractal stuff. I don't know why, but
like
it was
like snowflakes are fractal. They are geometric shapes that are fractions of divided into fractions of the overall shape.
Yeah. So again, I was giving Rob a chance to be the haughty intellectual.
It was because that's what Aaron Rodgers was seeing when he fought that coyote.
Sticking coyote. I'm gonna do it anyway. Hashtag we want Cody. Just because we do. No.
You should know your role and shut your mouth. Free poo candy ass.
You can take your whoa back to Hollywood, whoever you may be. We want Cody. Also, Rocky sucks.
Hashtag Rocky sucks. Dude. So I haven't watched all of Raw. I watched the first segment last night.
By the way, Cody is saying, trust me. That's what he's texting
gotta
out,
tell you.
trust me.
All right. So I want to go back. WrestleMania 30, you brought back Dave Bautista. They wanted Bautista because Bautista at the point was doing huge things in Hollywood. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in a bunch of other movies. He was starting to become a breakout star, and they wanted to bring that guy back because, hey, why wouldn't you want one of the, at the time, hottest actors in Hollywood and action movies to also be your guy? Except for at that point, Daniel Bryan had been so damn good at the Yes Movement that they had no choice. The plan all the way up until the week of WrestleMania was to have Batista versus Randy Orton to kind of kill off the Evolution angle involving Edge. But Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan Mania was so hot at the time that they had to listen to the fans and give it to Daniel Bryan, because there would have been a riot in New Orleans. And I know that because I was there. I'd have started it if DB didn't get the belt that night, which is part of the reason that Dave Bautista walked away so damn mad at the end of his career. This is that. This is that. I don't believe for a second that they're going to come out and try to convince you that this was the plan all along. It was to just swerve everybody. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. They were going to let Rock and TKO have their way, and you, the people, have spoken.
All right. Last thing that is Xing Yo are sunsets.
Sunsets?
Yeah.
Like when the sun sets?
Good night.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We are going home. Have a lovely rest of your day. Don't work too hard. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. For that guy over there and his sound clips, I'm Rob Brown. The Rob Brown Show is back tomorrow right here on the Fan Upstate later. Yeah.
All right. Sunsets was actually trending, and I
believe it. I just don't know.
I just thought of that at the last second. So, but I'm pretty proud of that. And I'm going to stand by that decision. It's a good way to cap off the show. Very heated edition of the Rob Brown Show.
Very heated edition of the Rob Brown Show.
Where I got gassed by hour 4.
There are stills and short gifts coming out of the Daredevil Born Again set. So that's dope.
Hey, I'm just glad Foggy's and Karen are back.
Word.
Because they were not supposed to be, supposedly. And maybe the fans spoke and they're like, yeah, we got to bring Foggy and Karen back.
The people are having a big week right now.
So far.
The people are having a big week. MVP for the people.
And it's only Tuesday.
Right at the Silverdome, brother. Would you look at that? MLB legend Nolan Ryan is in the chat. That's impressive. Welcome in. The official quote of Lonzo. That's going to be the title of Lonzo's autobiography.
What, good night?
It's a work.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. That's my entire career has been a work. And I still get away with it every day.
All right, dudes and dudettes. Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you didn't, it's your fault, not ours. We'll do more exotic prop bets tomorrow.
Her hips don't lie, Nolan.
On tonight because my hips don't lie and I'm starting to feel you, boy. I don't know what she says there.
I'm glad you knew some words because I don't.
Shakira, man.
I know.
Shakira. All right, we're going home. Have a great day. Goodbye. Because I have to go see my freaking exterminator again.
Oh, I thought you were going to say go see Chris.